But what are you saying though?
I'm basically more of a solutions person. I like to talk about like what's happening more or less on the policy lines.
Yeah. And what type of policies are you for? Like, yeah, yeah,
Well, anything that's actually getting such something done, there's so much obstruction. I don't like how politics has turned into a weaponized game of just these people have power and then nothing gets done, and no matter which side is going on, it's just
they're just
grid.
they're just kind of like just like like just trying to go along to get along type type of deal.
Yeah, that like nothing's happening.
Yeah.
Do something. Like a lot of people got mad. Like, take for instance when COVID happened, and everyone got super mad because Nancy Pelosi wanted to fund arts, and the only reason that that was even in that bill is because one, Washington is inept, and they're so ingrained in how they function that they're like, oh, well, this is typical, so let's put a whole bunch of earmarkers in here and get a whole bunch of stuff done.
Hmm.
And I don't really like that way of politics. And they learned their lesson. They're like, yeah, spending money on a museum that people aren't going to be able to see for like 3 months is probably not what we need to be worrying about right now.
And where was this at exactly?
Well, that happened during COVID. Um, uh, there was a whole bunch of earmarkers in COVID relief that shouldn't have been there, like funding a museum and like paying for things that just should
Yeah, yeah.
that just didn't belong there. It was a massive package, but the reason that it was there, and I'm not excusing it, I'm just saying that Washington, it's so ingrained that it's so typical that what they do is they go gridlock, gridlock, gridlock. Something bad happens, and then they push, and they pull until they get as much as they can done until the desire to do anything is gone again.
Yeah. Yeah, now, what do you call that? Like depression, though? That's what that sounds like to me.
Depression? Well, yeah, it makes me depressed.
Sure, that's what that sounds like.
I
To be
mean, like,
completely honest.
I want
Yeah,
things to
like
get
I understand.
done. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, like you're more about talking about like solutions and whatnot, just like you said.
yeah.
Yeah, no, like you're more
Do you have
about.
like a house garden in the background? I see a whole bunch of plants.
You said a house garden. No, I just have a. I just have a little problem. Uh, when it comes to like buying too much plant.
Oh, I used to have a habit of doing that. I had like a whole desk filled with houseplants.
But yeah, like I actually I don't know, like I've gotten into growing growing these plants or whatnot. Just because it's like a learning experience.
Mm-hmm.
Flowers
You just like green things.
yeah.
I gotten really to the point where I like to grow like if I did it again, if I started growing plants, I'd grow cactuses or succulents.
Actors. Well
Yes.
yeah, like I kind of been looking into those because I don't have any succulents, but like a lot of people keep telling me about those that like they're easy to grow.
Yeah, they are. They're just like you just plop them in the ground and they just sprout. Now, I would love, like, I love, the one of the reasons why I love my state is because it's a really good area and the humidity is just right that you can grow carnivorous plants, um,
Like what?
like Venus flytraps
Okay,
and
okay.
certain types of pitcher plants, and then there's the sticky kind of plants. It's,
Oh wow, they consider those carnivorous.
right. Well, the sticky ones, what they'll do is they'll glue the insect to them, and then they'll die. And
Kind of like just leech off, whatever.
yeah,
And then like I'm guessing like those sticky things are like kind of like roots or whatever.
the succulents are, they're kind of like a, yeah, they're like a root. They're I don't remember if they're a type of cacti or not, but they're just bulbouses that like
Well,
the
yeah, I would
bulbous.
definitely say that some of them are like a form of cacti. But yeah,
Mm,
I think they're like uh definitely like different species of
yeah,
uh succulent.
yeah. Have you ever went on YouTube and looked at videos for the jumping cactus?
What do you mean was that?
Well, there's a cactus in Arizona or in some desert regions in America where there's a cactus that the way it defends itself is that it has these what are they called? Their their sharp thorns will jump off and attach to you, and they're microscopically serrated, so they cling to you. And some of the videos that you can find are very funny of people just accidentally
Look it
falling.
up real quick. Pull it up real quick and share your screen because I mean, like right now, really, we're just kind of just waiting on people.
Okay,
Uh, I
I'm on
mean,
an
we can
iPad,
kill
so I
some
have to.
time real quick.
I'm on my iPad. Let me find it. Let's see.
All right,
Jump,
for sure.
jumping. Where are you from? I'm assuming California.
What was it?
Where are you from?
I'm from Houston. I'm from Houston, Texas.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah, stayed here for yeah for like a long ass time, I could say. Um, and 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 I mean like I definitely love the city. There's a whole bunch of like diversity here and whatnot. But
Hmm.
but and like also to be honest, I'm just glad that like I say in Texas, to be honest, because like it is a conservative state and like I guess like a lot of things that they do, you know, kind of like align with my views or whatnot.
Hmm. I'm worried that it's going too far with some of the things that it's doing.
Well, my
I feel like some
so
of it's being hypocritical. But
so what would you say? How would you feel about like states like Texas uh and Florida, for instance?
well, I mean, they're good states until they overreach with their with certain values. Like take for instance Florida. Florida has been pushing their the bill for parents
Hmm.
and how they don't want their parent, like they want to give parents the ability to protect their children from over sexualization. That's not bad. I think I think all parents should have.
Okay. Okay.
But when you come to Texas, Texas is kind of doing the opposite, where they're telling their parents to that they're calling parents that take their children to get them evaluated for transgender or gender dysphoria. They say that they're committing grooming or like calling their parenting into question. So
Wait.
I don't think
What do you
I don't.
mean by
Well, if you
that?
look at their well, Texas, when it comes to transgender people,
Yeah.
they've made it where if you're treating your child for transgenderism, they have to, like, doctors and medical professionals have to call the state on you.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's really
Ah.
bad. If you want me to, I can find you an article.
It's like if you find out that a kid is trans, then you gotta report it type shit.
Right, and you also have to report the parents. So,
What? Okay, that sounds crazy. I'm sorry. That sounds crazy. Even if you're against like trans, like that sounds crazy.
I mean, yeah, it's an incredibly big overreach. Like, I'm for, like,
That
give,
sounds crazy.
but like, how, like, is there nuance? Like, I don't know how much nuance there is in the bill or the legislation, but like, how are they like? Is this just outright saying that transgenderism isn't real and
Right?
gender dysphoria isn't real?
Right?
Like,
No,
don't they,
seriously.
like, shouldn't we be?
It's like just like discounting like a whole, like a whole sector of our society.
Yeah, like, and it's like there is, like, the left, like, take for instance my left leaning news outlets like TYT and some other places, like, they're cringe, but they still give you stuff to look. They still give you stuff to look up.
Yeah, no, I used to watch TYT. I haven't watched him in a while. Have you watched him recently?
Yeah, I keep up with them because
Okay.
even though they're cringe, like I said, uh,
Uh,
they still give you things to look up. Like, you can listen to what they say and then take what they're saying and then go Google it and then try to find out, like, have difference of opinions, because TYT, they're pretty biased.
yeah,
Like yeah, they're kind of disgustingly left. So, you know, so I'll go over there and I'll look around, and they brought up how a girl, or a trans girl, attempted suicide the same day that the bill passed. And, well, like, when they took her to the hospital and had her admitted, they also had to inform, like, they also had to call the state, because this trans girl was being treated for her dysphoria,
hmm
and causing even more problems. So you have someone who's suicidal,
yeah.
and then you give them an even more reason to be distressed.
They're like putting like more pressure on them.
Yeah, like, I understand that conservatives don't like transgender people and don't want to go too far, but, like, being completely against it is it's just too much. It's like me saying, like, "Oh, I hate religion." What does that mean to people? Like, I don't hate religion. I just don't have one, and I'm not going to say people shouldn't have one.
And me personally, by the way, like I am like I guess like when people ask me what I am like politically, like I'm sitting right,
Hmm.
like but like like I basically kind of like agree with most of it what you're saying, but like, I just kind of lean all right on like a few things.
I well, I mean, yeah, I understand. Like, a lot of people agree with taking small steps, not big steps. I'm sitting here trying to figure out what plants you're growing. I'm like, is okay. I think that over there is aloe vera.
Nah,
Nah.
got like like the popular one, like the photo, uh, or like a painter's palette,
Oh,
or
okay, I
like
got you.
a.
I figured since you were in Texas, you'd grow aloe vera. Like,
Well, I
you know,
mean, like it is popular. It's around everywhere. But like
well,
I
I mean,
don't.
like you could use it. Like it has uses, you know.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, I don't.
Like you could like grow a whole bunch of it and then pop it off and like just slather it on yourself. Like,
And I mean, there's a whole bunch of like Hispanics here that use it for that, like for cuts and all that.
yeah.
But I don't know, just never actually.
Well, I mean, it grows so rapidly. You just yank you off a piece and just slather it on yourself.
Then I got like some catnip, cat grass for like my
Oh,
cats and
okay.
whatnot.
I have five.
Got 5 cats.
Yes.
Oh wow, wait a minute. I got two. Five. That they already keep me up at night, so I can only imagine how much fighting and stuff they be doing at nighttime.
Well, mine aren't bad. I have three geriatric cats. They're over 10, and they stay outside. Well, wait. Okay, two of those stay outside. One is a kitten, and he stays outside. And then I have two indoor. And the only reason they're indoors because they're chicken shits. They don't want to go nowhere. They like being inside. They're afraid of everything.
God damn, I forgot. Oh, what I was about to say. Then, but like my favorite plant is can't really see it. It's this one called what is it called? It's an easy ass name too. Oh, the fig leaf.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Have you heard of it? Like it's popular.
I
It's like
haven't heard of it. I have to look at here. Let me look it up.
well, anyway, like the plant gets like super tall, and like the leaves get like pretty dope.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Oh, and then I got one of my favorite plants. You can probably kind of see it in the back. Uh, can you see it?
Oh, is that a cane tree?
Oh, that is called like a dragon. Like a dragon,
Oh,
but
okay, I
like
got you.
it's like in a way back there. See it?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, well that's called the bird of paradise.
Oh, okay.
That's my favorite plant. Yeah. If you look it up, like when a flower blossom, it looks like origami.
Oh, yeah, those are so fucking cool. Okay, let me ask you a really funny question that's on the topic of plants. Okay, when you started buying plants, how pissed off were you when you went to like a store and bought a plant and it had a flower glued on it?
What do you mean? Like it had like basically they'll kind of like put like plastic flowers with the plant
Yeah, like
and
when you
try
go to
to
buy
decorate it.
cactuses, like if you go into CVS and they have cactuses for sale, always look at it because some of the colorful parts of the
Yeah,
cactus are actually glued on.
yeah,
I was so mad.
yeah. Nah, yeah, yeah. No, I've definitely seen like with that. I'm like really, but
My favorite plant right now would have to be I really like trees.
Yeah.
So my favorite is like the most terrible tree not in America, which is called the mimosa tree.
Mimosa. What's that?
Okay, well, it's called the weed tree. And basically because it is so evasive, because it grows like a weed. And before you
Oh
know it,
wow.
you have a full grown tree. But the plant is incredibly interesting. If you Google it, it has these um it has these palm flowers that it smells fantastic. And each individual leaf, it has like each individual leaf has like maybe 15 to 30 smaller leaves, and they close at night.
Mm.
It's a really interesting, annoying plant.
It says annoying. Why is it annoying?
Well, people just hate them because they're so evasive.
No.
They grow so fast, and they multiply really like rather like rapidly.
They're just like hard to maintain and shit.
They're not really hard to maintain. They're almost akin to like a rubber tree, a rubber plant, a wild rubber plant, except they just flower and they smell really good. Smell fantastic. And then
No, that's pretty cool though.
but okay, since you like plants, do you um like how do you feel about like deforestation and like like you must feel really different about like the green movement, like the energy movement when it comes to like green energy and conservation.
Well, I mean, yeah, like I've always been like aware of stuff like that.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I'm definitely for like like just being conscious of like trying to recycle, trying to
Environmentalism.
yeah, trying not to litter.
Mhm.
That and then also like I guess you could say like I'm just for nature, I'm very much for like the plants, I'm very much for like the animals also.
Mhm. Are you sleepy?
I had smoked earlier.
Oh, okay. I figured you were stoned. I just didn't. I just didn't, like. I was like, it must have been the good shit.
But yeah, so that. But I mean, like, what about you though? Do you have any, I guess, like hobbies or like
I'm just a gamer nerd. I love
anything that you
anime.
like to collect
Like
or anything like that?
my thing is anime and video games. Yeah, like
And
I'm
like,
a
what type
man.
of game?
I love JRPGs. I'm playing Final Fantasy 14 right now.
Okay, okay. And that's at MMO, right?
Yeah. Um, like there hasn't really been any big JRPGs that have come out recently. I'm waiting for some, but they like it's going to be a while before they come out. I mainly been getting like indie PC games because they're like really cheap and they're just something to play. But yeah, it's anime, games, and politics. That's like that's my thing.
So that's why like this week really just been trying to get or just meet different people, talk to different face, like more in the community and whatnot. Because
Yeah.
like before I was mainly just trying to build up on sub captain. What's going on, bro? Always appreciate you for coming through.
You know I was going to. I just some issues. We
Nah, bro, it's all good.
just a minor bit of background. Last weekend, Father's Day, me and my wife got a call about an abandoned litter. Most of them didn't make it, but one of them did. It was
What,
3 weeks old.
the dogs or
Yeah.
the rescue dog?
So and we have experience dealing with infant pups, and so we were actually on a date. Or having a date night, and we left the movie theater, went and go picked up the pups. So now we have a 3-week-old abandoned pitty male, and so we taking care of him. We already have a family that's going to take him after we get him off the bottle.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's good, though.
So
That's a good what we're doing.
I like animals more than people.
Yeah, no, just like me, I'm actually on vacation right now, from my job, and I was supposed to be in Austin. This dude had surgery. Uh, I already have experience like with helping people with like disabilities. Oh, they back.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
I was like, yeah, I'll go tubing in.
So where are we at on the debate topic?
Oh
I couldn't
right
keep up because I
now,
was in my car.
well, now right now, we were just talking about, uh, kind of like just getting to know each other, talking about
Oh, there you go.
random topics, basically like just waiting till got some more.
Do we know if we're gonna get a couple more people to slide in here?
Uh, that's what I'm hoping. I know this one guy. Let me.
Yeah, I noticed your last stream in VOD had like 68 views. Your numbers is going up. It's
Oh
good
yeah,
for you, sir.
nah, bro. Not only that, one of my other videos had 169, bro, and I think the one today or like the one earlier is gonna be pretty good.
Oh, there you go.
But yeah, bro. Just like I said, by the end of this week, I should definitely get that affiliate. Definitely have that affiliate. I'm definitely excited for that.
Hey, that'd be dope.
But nah, it's because I've been listening to y'all, been taking y'all advice. Wait a minute, bro.
But yeah, it is nice to finally hit the weekend. Oh, and Goon, I know you vegan and all, but I gotta let you know, I ate good tonight. I had St. Louis ribs.
So that makes me jealous. I want some ribs. I want a steak.
Steak is every day. Sometimes you got to break out the ribs.
So that you want a steak?
I don't want a fucking steak. There's this place called Logan's, and I really want a fucking
Oh,
steak. I
okay.
really
I definitely
Oh
heard about
god.
that one.
Logan's is such a chain restaurant though. Well, I suppose if you don't live
Yeah,
in Texas, it's what you got.
yeah. Like I've always seen that place, but I never actually stopped to go
I
Well,
will.
eat there.
I mean, I'm in North Carolina, so a lot of places around here, but it's basically just wings. It's just chicken wings, chicken wings, chicken wings, and
Yeah, but at least it's Carolina. Y'all got some decent barbecue. Y'all pretty
Yeah,
good
I
with
was
pit
just about to
barbecue.
say that.
yeah, the
I was just about
barbecue.
to say that.
And as somebody who's not a coleslaw fan, one of the few times I'll eat coleslaw is when I'm in Carolina.
What kind of coleslaw did you like? Did you like there's vinegar and then there's mayonnaise.
The vinegar.
Uh,
I prefer the mayonnaise base.
I hate mayonnaise. I hate sandwiches with mayonnaise. I hate
See,
people
What?
who make mayonnaise for a
that's the
living.
thing though. That's the thing though. When you come,
I like
look,
Chipotle mayo.
okay,
That shit's good.
like, you gotta understand, like when you're in Texas and you're kind of in the middle, you don't have the right kind of mayo. You got to make sure you got Duke's.
Dukes.
Duke's is, Duke's mayonnaise is the only mayonnaise. Hellman's
I
sucks.
always see that Dukes, but I don't know. I've never tried it.
You
I just
got
stick with helmets. What is it called?
Hellman's is crap.
Helmets.
Try Duke's.
Hellman's is so bad they don't actually call it mayonnaise. They just call it Hellman's spread.
Yeah, it's
Hilarious.
bad. You gotta
They don't
try
even
Duke.
call it mayonnaise.
Like I don't know if you guys like ranch. Do you guys like ranch?
Hell yeah, put that shit on
Mm,
everything.
The
Okay.
only time I'll eat ranch is when I would eat celery, but since I have to wait for my new set of insert teeth to arrive, I can't eat celery, so I don't eat ranch. That's literally
Okay.
the
Listen,
only time.
Oh
I
wow, I
live. I
literally
eat
like
ranch.
dunk on pizzas and that stuff.
Yeah, I live off ranch. Well, ranch is made with mayonnaise, and if you use the wrong kind of mayonnaise, it's gonna be subpar. Okay, you gotta use Duke's. It's gotta be buttermilk. Like it's gotta be it's gotta be thick.
Look, let me tell you, this is how much I don't like mayonnaise. Not when my mom or my girl makes deviled eggs, they use mustard, not mayo, because mayo is disgusting.
Yeah.
I gotta have Duke's. Like a little bit of mayonnaise in there.
No, you can
I
do
can't
without.
I understand that mayonnaise is gross by itself, but like
Mayonnaise is gross no matter what. I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, it's everything. Okay, let me ask you this: like, when you eat like Japanese food, do you get the yum yum sauce?
No,
Oh,
And I've never tried that one.
you
no,
never tried.
I've tried yum yum sauce. Like, okay, there are some things where by it's not like I'm gonna hate it by virtue of the fact that it has mayonnaise, but if mayonnaise is the primary ingredient, don't expect me to like it. If I can taste the mayonnaise above other things, I
Yeah.
ain't eating it.
That's
Yeah, I'll
fair.
be like, ah, nah.
That's fair.
Now that said, when it comes to yum yum sauce, you know what it's good on? I don't know if you've been to it. There's a place called PF Chang's.
Yeah. Yeah,
PF
we got
Chang's
that.
has an appetizer called dynamite shrimp.
Oh wow, yeah, no, I've never
And
had that.
dynamite shrimp, it's got good kick to it, but it's made with yum yum sauce. And so while I
Okay.
can taste the mayonnaise a bit, there's enough of the spice and that Asian kick that it gets drowned out, and so I tolerate it. And it does make the dynamite shrimp better in that regard. But that's one of those things
Yum
where
yum sauce. Yum yum sauce. It is a an Asian sauce. So yeah,
Mhm.
so good. I love it when I have another thing that's really big in where I am is uh fuck Japanese restaurants that serve like hibachi steak and shrimp,
Oh,
chicken.
like Benihana type stuff.
They
Yeah,
like
what we
cooking
call
in front of you type of thing,
huh?
or
Nah,
nah, that's like the
the hibachi. What
hibachi.
he's talking about? He's
That's like
talking
the
about, like, what they do,
hibachi.
those presentation, the Japanese steakhouses that have the presentation where they have like the flat top and the people sit around it and they make the food in front of you and they do the little show with catching shit on fire.
They don't do that here anymore. You have to go to like big, expensive places for that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like they had one of those here, but it closed down like a long fucking time ago.
Well, I mean, there's some like lower. I don't want to say lower class, but like
Mm. Where they do
more
the
accessible.
same thing every time. They got the same rehearsal.
Well,
They
there's
like do the
only
choo
so many ways you
choo,
can
then
cook
they
and
do the
flame an
flip.
onion.
They put it in your mouth. They do. It's
I mean, well,
but
that's why it's a niche. Like, you don't see people going to Benihana's every day or every
yeah,
week.
yeah,
Like, it's something me and my girl will do on our anniversary because we like the place and we like the show and we like the food.
yeah.
But it's a niche thing. So, like I said, once a year we'll go there. Not to mention the fact that for two of us, for our plates, like $75.
Yeah, nah, bro, you're
Well,
right. You're right.
like here,
Definitely.
what we do, like this place is really affordable for two people.
What's up?
It's like
What's up,
$32,
Hobo? What's up? What's up, Hobo
Mm,
the Clown? Appreciate
and
you
it's
for
just
coming through, bro. If you
I can't hear
can,
Goon
please
anymore.
hop
Oh, he
up in
muted
the
himself.
Discord. Well, yeah, because I was talking to somebody up in the chat real
Oh, I'm
quick.
sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And y'all keep on though. But yeah,
But
Hobo
we
the
yeah, it's easy to
Clown.
forget that he does that where he's got to
Um,
talk to his chat, but he ain't talking to us because like I mute the tab so that I don't get the feedback and double
right.
voices.
oh,
Yeah,
okay.
if you can,
Have you tried? Like, is Marco's Pizza
please
there in
hop up
Texas?
in the
It
Discord.
is, and it ain't nothing home. It ain't
And
nothing worth writing
so,
home about. I'm
because like right
sorry.
now, we just kind of
I don't
trying to
know. Like,
wait until more
I mean,
Like
people,
now don't get
that
me wrong. There are
pizza
join.
hut
local
was
joints
bad,
that are
but
really good.
man,
There are some really good
Um,
pizza places, like
we just
local
kind
pizza
of just
places.
waiting
Like,
and
there's a
whatnot.
place called
But
Village Inn that's
what you up
here,
to,
and it's
bro?
really good.
What you got going on right now?
there used to be a popular place, and I can't hardly find it anymore. It's called Bertucci's.
Bertucci's. That sounds
They
good.
they made
That
brick oven
sounds
pizza.
authentic.
It's authentic Chicago style brick oven pizza.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's
I've
like
been living
Uno's.
off.
Uno's had class.
But yeah, like, out of all of the chain restaurants, which one is the best for pizza?
For pizza,
For pizza,
I would say Papa John's.
it's a close one between Papa John's and Little Caesars.
What? No. You can't do that.
Okay, well,
Not
okay,
Little Caesar.
hold on. Here's the thing, and hear me out. Hear me out. It's not just about the pizza. It's about the other stuff that the pizza place provides. And I'm sorry, while the pizza itself at Little Caesars ain't maybe not be as high as Papa John's pizza, I'll tell you what. I'll take Little Caesars cheese bread every day and twice on Sunday over Papa John's. I'm gonna just put it out
Yeah,
there.
like it's unfortunate, but I have to say that like my current Papa John's has fallen to like number 3. Like, I'm gonna start ordering Marco's more. So it's
All right, for sure,
Marco's,
bro. For
Little
sure.
Caesars, and
But
then
I
Papa
definitely
John's.
appreciate you for stopping by up in the chat and
Like Papa John's used
you
to be
know,
better.
just
I
taking
used
the
to work at a Papa
opportunity
John's,
to
so I
stop
ate
by
plenty of Papa
up in the
John's in the
Discord
day.
also,
But
bro.
it's gone down. It
Did
It's
has
gone
gone down.
down since they ousted the original,
Little
like the
Caesars
original dude. Like,
did you
So it is what it is.
did what, bro? What'd you say? You silly.
I'll tell you what though, when it comes to local
But
places,
no, we got somebody else that might pop up in here.
oh here we
That's gonna
go.
be cool. About 4 people. So hopefully, we get some more people up in here though.
I feel
Because
like
I
if we
did
get
meet a
like a
lot of
couple
people this
heads,
week. What was
you
that?
did the like, people kept joining the server. Like, a bunch of people were joining the server.
Yeah,
uh,
I'm trying to put myself out there. Trying to, I guess, meet people in the community.
I hate to be a Debbie Downer on you though, Goon,
Yeah.
but there was one of the debates I was listening to via your Twitch channel,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't remember
You
exactly.
said to my
I
Twitch
forget what
channel?
well, you remember you had Twitch going and you were in the debate
Oh, okay,
on
yeah.
Destiny server.
Okay,
And I gotta say, I don't think you did. And I'm trying to remember the topic. I just remember thinking over and over again, man, he's not making good arguments. Like
yeah.
I know you can make
It
good
was
arguments
probably
for some topics.
Yeah, no, it was probably during that we were like arguing about it was about
I think
like
it was
animal
race related.
rights.
No, I think it had something to do. It either had something to do with, or the topic moved to something regarding race.
Then I don't know. I don't know what you're.
Oh Lord, oh gosh, like I might have been there because I remember there was some race realist arguments going on in the server one night. They were talking about race realism. I might
But I mean, I wasn't. I didn't think you were saying anything bad. I just don't think you were making the kind of compelling arguments that I know you can make. It seemed
Yeah.
like you were arguing from the defensive as opposed to like moving the conversation. But I didn't want, I wasn't gonna hop into a busy ass debate just to be like, "Yo, bro," because I ain't trying to do you like that. But I just wanted to let you know. I'm trying.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know me so far. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be positive, but I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah,
because
no,
I
but it's
think I
like
think you have
when
potential
I'm
for the good
in,
debates.
yeah, it's just like when I'm in those discords like that, like especially, like when it's like a couple people, I mean, like it's like chill, but like when it's like more people, like I kind of hold back a little bit more, because it's just like, like some things get me triggered or whatnot, but like
Mm.
for the most part, like I just try to, just stay back, stay back and let other people talk, you know. Like even if they say something crazy, I'm just like, oh, okay.
Right.
Okay.
So, man, so I've been
What's
since I
up,
got off
Rob? What's
work, I've
up?
been sitting
What's
here
up? What's
reading the
up?
actual
I definitely appreciate you for
decision,
stopping by, Rob.
like the
It's like I
actual
got two people from
concurrences
YouTube,
and
and YouTube is
dissenting
very
opinions.
hard to grow over
And
there.
I
So
gotta
I
tell
definitely
you,
appreciate y'all for stopping by,
even
because
though
y'all are
Justice
definitely
Roberts
helping me out on
sided
YouTube.
with the
Like he
conservative
said,
majority,
they
three
are
of the
full of
justices
shit. They can't
basically
remember what
took
you
Roberts
said.
to the woodshed for him trying to
They
straddle
ain't
the
no
fence.
telling what the fuck I
I
said,
mean,
bro.
they ate his
But
lunch over
Rob,
his
if
lack of
you want
commitment. It was
to,
amazing.
please join the Discord. Please join the Discord and let us know what you think
And
about the decision that
I
they made
fully
today
believe
with the whole
that
Roe v. Wade
if
situation.
it hadn't been if it hadn't been 5-3,
I mean, we haven't got the
he would
conversation
not have
started
joined.
right
If it
now
had
because
been
we're
like a
still waiting on
4-4
people.
and he was the
I think
tiebreaker, I
Hobo the
think he would have sided
Clown was
with the
actually going to
liberal
join later.
justices.
He just, chilling right now. I'm sorry, what was that, Captain?
I said the conservative justices were taking Roberts to the woodshed over trying to straddle the fence about Roe v. Wade, and I'm fully convinced that if it had not been a majority at the start, like, so it's either going to be, it was either going to be 5-3 or 4-4, right? It was either going to be a split decision or there was going to be a majority. And I think that if the decision was 4-4 and it came down to Roberts being the tiebreaker, I think he would have sided with the liberal justices because I don't think he has a spine.
And this is who that you're speaking about?
Chief Justice Roberts, he is
Chief Justice Roberts.
he's the justice above the other justices. He's the senior most Supreme Court justice. He's basically the tiebreaker justice. So, but he has a
So how do
history
you?
of kind of creating status out of whole cloth.
Yeah.
So, like Justice Roberts was the one who rewrote the definition of tax so that Obamacare could get passed, and he was raked over the coals for that one.
He just kind of known for like manipulating stuff. I guess you could
Do
say.
what?
I said he just kind of known for like manipulating stuff. I guess you could say.
And I don't think a justice, especially a tiebreaker justice, should be doing that.
Yeah, no, I mean that's valid. that's that's valid. I was really trying to wait
Oh
about
yeah,
like
true enough.
5 more minutes.
All right.
5 more minutes because I'm trying to give old boy a chance. And I think Ra might join the conversation. I think that would be cool. I think that would be cool
Let's
also.
get him in here. Let's get
See,
him in here.
so
More.
also I'm not only streaming on Twitch and YouTube, but I'm also streaming on Facebook and Corvo now.
Oh, you streaming everywhere.
Yeah, and like cause it's been very hard for me to gain subscribers on YouTube, but like even though like I be posting videos there on the time, but I mean like it's been doing good lately. Well, I mean as of today, cause I just got my account back today.
Yeah.
From that bullshit there. I know now what to do. But I guess like I guess y'all, like we can kind of start someone talking about it. Like, how do y'all feel about yes, like what happened today, or like what's y'all's thoughts on what exactly happened today?
Uh, I mean, I'll start. I think that it was the right decision. Most lawyers and most court theorists, and even if they support abortion, understand and admit that the way Roe v. Wade was decided was not good law. It didn't have a constitutional basis, and constitutional basis was written out of nothingness to give it ruling. And I think people are really overblowing what the case was, because it's not like the Supreme Court banned abortion. All they said was it's the ability to legislate this item is vested to the states, which is where it should have been the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if states make their own laws, those laws are passed by people that are subject to the vote. You know, the whole reason why it was passed down back down to the states was because those representatives are elected directly by the people. So, if the people of the state want abortion, they can elect people who will give them abortions. If they don't want it, then they vote somebody who is against it. And that's how it should
What's
be.
up? What's up? What's up, Blizzard? Appreciate you for stopping by. If you want to, please hop up in the
That's democracy.
Discord. Please hop up in. Please
And
hop up in the
I'm more
Discord, bro.
concerned about the fallout and the
Yeah.
aftermath. Like you
Thank
said,
you for stopping by. There should
most
be
people,
more people hopping up in
um,
the Discord. That's
political
all, bro.
engineers, believe that it, like
How's your night going, by the way? We
that
ain't
the
we ain't
Supreme Court
stopping here.
shouldn't be
Free
divvying out
states
laws. It
are
should be
next, though.
Congress that
Hell
makes
yeah, bro! You already know.
these decisions.
Free Trump. You feel me? But yeah, Blizzard, hop up in the Discord, though, bro.
I just wish it had been. I'm very concerned of thing for the future. Like, what are the conservative
What's up?
plans?
What's
Like,
up? What's up?
and how far is this
Hello,
going to
is this
open
a
up? Like,
mega stream? I
are they going to get
mean,
rid
no, this
of
isn't
gay
necessarily like a
marriage,
one-sided stream.
sodomy laws?
But
Are they
okay,
going
bro,
to
I'm about to
get rid
post a
of
Discord right now.
contraception
But
just
this isn't
because it was
necessarily a
based
mega stream.
on the
Like
very
I
flimsy
accept
idea of
everybody's views
privacy,
over here, but
or an
if you want to ask
assumed
me,
idea of
I am
privacy based on
center
other
right, you know, so I do lean more right.
assumed
Why does
context
this
from
other guy
the
keep talking
Constitution?
over you? Because we're in a
And
discussion right now,
are
but I'm just talking to
conservatives
you, bro.
going to insert their values on the country federally? Those are the things that I'm concerned.
Well, I mean, even if that latter point is the case, then it's no different than if it's staying being liberals having their voice. But more importantly, other than Justice Clarence Thomas, which I disagree with his concurrence opinion, where he said that other decisions like Gambrel, Oberfels, etc., ought to be looked at, because that was his argument for why substantive due process should be stripped. I disagree with that. I think, and I want to say it was either Kavanaugh or Gorsuch who made a very specific argument that because all three of the four conservative justices stated clearly that the decision of Roe v. Wade has no impact, should not have impact, and should not be considered relevant to any case involving those other cases. The issue of the privacy and the lack of constitutionality is specific to abortion because of the moral quarry that it creates. Because abortion is unique in that it is a process with the guaranteed purpose of ending a life.
All right, bro. All
Now,
right,
there's
bro. I just
morality in
posted
there,
the
and I'm not
link.
sure that
If you
that should
want
be in the case.
to,
But specifically,
please
those
join the
justices were very clear
Discord
to
and
point
join the
out that this
conversation, bro.
case should not be used, and the merits of this case should not be used in any way against those cases, and for the reasons listed, right? Now, and again, I think Clarence Thomas was wrong to suggest that they should be on the chopping block, because they are different than abortion itself. So I understand the concern. I hope that the message in the concurrence is clear to not try and challenge that, and that those other decisions should be standing law. So
How would, like, so do you think Do you think there's any chance that conservatives, if they gain power in 2024, will attempt to federally ban abortion in all 50 states?
I think that there is a slim chance they might try, but I don't think it goes through. And the main reason I think that is there are enough, we'll call them pro-choice Republicans, that, for the same reason they don't want the government saying or they don't want the federal government deciding that abortion's okay. I also don't think they want the government to have the power to say what is and what's not okay in that regard on the other side. And so I think that,
So,
especially after such a we'll call it a hard-fought victory, the fact is that most conservative commentators and even political analysts did not think that Roe v. Wade was going to get overturned less than one full presidential term after a conservative majority. And
so, Captain, I got a
yo,
question. Because earlier, like, I was just keeping up with the chat or whatever. But like, so how do you feel about I guess like it being up to the state for people to be able to have abortions versus and like, I guess I'm asking this for you also in DD, but like how do both of y'all feel about like it being up to the state versus it being like a federal law?
I
Because
support
it's
it being with
yeah.
the states
Okay.
because, as I said before, the state is answerable to the people in a way that the federal government isn't.
And what was your answer, NDD?
I think it's one of those things that the states cannot handle. It's going to create just another. It's going to join the myriad of problems that are class based and just cause more hardship.
So, and this was what I was thinking, cause like, I was thinking for a bit that it would be best, yeah, that it would be best to be up to the states, because that will leave it up to the people, being able to decide, what they want in their state or whatnot. But at the same time, like, we do have to. I feel like at least like there's certain things that need to be like almost like a protected right, that we have, because what's to say like if society voted like for, just something just completely asinine or whatever. And then also dealing with like the point of abortion, even with the situation right now, like I feel like it's gonna cause a lot of loopholes where like people are going to have to do it like in a nefarious way, besides getting it legally done.
But
So,
but here's the thing, and it's core to the problem of arguing Roe v. Wade and as a legal matter, right? The Supreme Court's decision had nothing to do with as a matter of law generally. The subject at issue was whether there was an actual implied constitutional right, and they used the 14th Amendment in the same way that they used it in a similar way that they used it for Oberfeld and Gamber, etc.
yeah.
The problem is that in order to if you try to make the case of the constitutionality of it, then the first thing you're up against is the guarantee of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right? And that they cannot be stripped without due process. If a baby, especially, and this isn't to bring up an immigration issue, but for the purposes of argument, if it's an American couple and the woman is pregnant, that baby, while not born, is an American citizen.
Mhm.
It is a life. And so the idea of saying that abortion is built into the Constitution or implied in the Constitution violates that very idea. of cannot be stripped of life or liberty without due process, because that baby doesn't have a representative except for the person for whom inside the womb they are, and that person is not their advocate. They're trying to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Who's the woman's advocate?
The woman is her own advocate. That's what she's advocating. For her, she's advocating for whatever she's wanting out of getting an abortion. However, who's the representative, or who is speaking in the vested interest of the life of the child?
You're
Look,
At
asking
here,
what at what
who's
point? At
speaking
what
in the best interest of the child?
yeah.
like? But at the same time, wait. Like, at what point does? no,
I would
At
say
what?
that that's up to the parents, right?
No, because he's saying that the parents are hostile to the very life of the fetus of the child.
If they're arguing for abortion,
Yeah. Like, so, but at the same time, it feels kind of grubby to me because we're giving the unborn child a level of protection that only an incredibly rich person could afford. It's like you're giving the unborn child like Walmart level lawyers that the woman can't possibly fight.
I see what you're saying.
if
I see
I
what you're saying.
kill a pregnant woman, am I charged with single murder or double homicide?
Well, that's totally different. The fetus is wanted.
But my thing, like the reason that I agree
Okay,
also,
then I'll slightly rephrase. The woman was on her way to an abortion clinic, and she's murdered. Is it a single homicide or a double homicide in the eyes of the law?
I mean, I don't really think I have to answer your question because it's too specific.
But it
And
speaks to the merits of the issue, because even if she's deciding to get an abortion, at that moment that baby inside of her is alive, and the state recognizes that it's alive. And so when you snuff out one life and it snuffs out the other, the state treats it as if it was a life. That's not giving it Walmart level lawyers. That's giving it the same level of protection and etc. that the mother has, who is another human being.
right, but I mean that would be predicated upon such a weird thing. Wait, I'm thinking. I mean,
For the same reason a mother can't decide to kill their child when they're born.
well,
Like,
no one like can we at least acknowledge that no one wants to kill their child when they're like at, at 9 months? It's an unrealistic thing.
and yet in Virginia they tried to pass a law allowing for termination of pregnancy at the moment of birth.
I would have to look that up. But all I'm saying is that the majority of people don't believe that abortion should be that far along, depending on the circumstance. I mean,
what's up? What's
like
up, Pablo the Clown? Are you
it's
enjoying the show, bro?
problematic
You enjoying what's going
to
on?
say the least.
Yeah, I just think um uh, at the end of the day, it is because I really just wonder how this is gonna play out, because my thing is, bro, you cannot like legalize something and then criminalize it.
But the
You
Supreme
definitely
Court didn't
can't
do
do that.
either of those things. The Supreme Court did not do either of those things.
Well, no,
Roe v.
because
Wade
it's
did
up
not
to the
legalize
states,
abortion.
though,
Right. All the
and
Supreme
that's
Court
what.
said is that it's not in the Constitution for a federal allowance, that the
But
states decide.
but these states are stopping something that people have been doing. So now it's like that's wait, bro. It's like how do you? It's like these people are going to be God knows what they're going to be doing. That's why,
Well,
like, I had made a joke earlier that hangers are there's gonna be like a shortage. There's gonna be like a shortage of like hangers and shit because it's like like what are people going to be doing, bro? Like, there's no telling what people are going to be doing now because there's such a demand for it. I guess you could say, which is sad, yeah, but it's like I don't know, bro. Because like I do agree with that there should be a shift in society, that I guess people should, I guess you could say, be more responsible. But it's like you can't force people to at the same
Really? We
time.
have laws against a variety of crimes that force people to be good.
I mean, well, yeah, yeah, yeah.
and we not say be good, like they
To not be evil.
no. Let's not use the word evil. Evil has too much of a religious connotation. The laws are there to be trying to think of the word. They're meant to reduce crime. They're not meant to stop crime.
They're like
Yeah, laws essentially are meant to express what we believe to be a moral norm baseline. Like a moral norm baseline is you don't kill people, you don't rob people, you don't rape women. Yeah.
yeah, bro. If you done,
If only laws
if you
actually had the
done,
ability to make people good.
I guess like warming up or whatever,
Well,
bro.
I mean,
Then
that would
go ahead and
be
join.
in the context
You
of the
feel me?
person who wrote the law. What is good? I mean that. I mean, laws are meant to make society safer. Not. It sounds kind of authoritarian. Like I don't know. I'm not trying to be like a super leftist. I'm just
Yeah. Oh no, oh no, oh no. I
Well, no, I
think
mean
yeah.
it's understandable that
Oh yeah.
part of the argument is that which is done legally is meant to project something morally. I mean that might not be the strict definition, but it does play a part, and that's fair. Like there are people that might argue against it, but I think it's a fair conclusion because there has to be something that started as not being written on paper that we recognized as okay, these are things that are like just like we look at them and we say that there's something wrong with doing that, right? Like the first time somebody decided that they just walk up and stab someone or club them to death, we look at that and be like, that's not normal, that's not good, and that's where that grows from.
I mean, so I have a question when it comes to just the idea of of abolishing something. Um, do do you think that abolition of things is a good thing? Like, are you in favor of like um, further abolition for moral reasons? Like, do you think we should ban certain types of alcohol or drugs or things like that?
I feel like I know where you're trying to go with this. I would say that, and I believe I don't think I made this argument with you, but I made this argument before that you know in comparing it with guns rights with regard to what you're
What was
talking
that?
about. I would be in support. So a lot of people make the argument that if you pass gun laws or ban guns, that violence will go down, and people are really concerned about the number of deaths from guns. My argument has been that more people die per year from alcohol-related deaths than any firearm has for the last 5 years or plus. And I said I will support I will support strict gun laws if those same people that want the gun laws also support prohibition. That doesn't mean I support it. I'm saying if the goal is or the idea is to stop uh, preventable deaths, then let's go all the way. If not, then maybe we should be more reasonable.
So, do you think we should get rid of things like driver's license or stopgaps to make sure that people are using these potentially dangerous things because it's a potential stopgap, like a potential to stop these people from doing. Are you against harm reduction? Is what I'm trying to say. I'm sorry.
I'm not against harm reduction. I am against measures that are claimed to be for harm reduction, but whose effect is largely toward the law-abiding citizens for whom it should not apply and would not otherwise be affected, except for the implementation of the law needlessly.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey.
The hobo the clown. Just thought I would join in, kind of listen in, and maybe throw in my own opinions.
What's
Whatever.
up, what's
But,
up, bro?
Uh-oh.
Appreciate you for stopping by, man.
Oh no, we have an
what?
individual.
Yeah, you don't know where I stand.
You don't know where I
I
stand. Hilarious.
I have no idea who you are, but you sound cool. Hi.
Hey, what's up, dude?
Well, we just having good conversation.
Yep. I was watching on YouTube. I thought it was pretty good. So,
Yo, appreciate you supporting me from YouTube, actually. Bro, it's hard out there. It's hard out there on them streets. And dude, on them
isn't it?
YouTube streets. Oh yeah. Compared to Twitch, shit. Man, please.
But ND, to go back to your point,
Mhm.
how I feel about abolition of something directly correlates to the level of good that abolishing it does compared to what we lose by not. So, if you want to go back further, abolition of slavery was an absolute good because enslaving of another human is detestable, right? And even the forefathers understood this. I mean, they were part of that system, but they wrote. It is believed that they wrote the Constitution's Bill of Rights, understanding that people better than them were going to see the ideas and grant those freedoms to those people. It took longer than they probably liked, or longer than we would have liked, obviously. But that abolition was a good thing. I think prohibition, when it happened, if it had been implemented differently, it might have been a good. I'm not a fan of arbitrarily deciding what someone can and cannot do with their own body when it doesn't cause harm to other people internally other than actions, which is why I'm in favor of laws where if they do decide to do those things like consume alcohol and get in a car, it's not the car's fault, it's the intoxicated driver's fault.
Yeah.
Well, I remember somebody was asking earlier about I think legalizing all drugs. I mean, there's certain drugs and substances out there that I don't think I would want, everybody on or have
What's up, Blue
access
Cell?
to,
What's
or,
going on,
just
bro?
no sort of
Yeah,
consequences for,
slavery
being in
was
my
not
neighborhood or,
legislated at the
it's
time
just
of
like
the
crack,
writing of the document.
heroin,
I was
PC.
only I was only bringing that up because it seems to me that if we're going to only view things as as if it's abolition for one thing, I'm trying. Every time I get there, the point slips my.
Oh no,
Damn it!
no, you good? Just take your time. And like if
No,
you don't remember,
Yeah. There is no
just let
stopwatch
somebody
here, my
go.
dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
but
you good?
what I'm saying is like when it comes to these laws, like do you instead of why isn't it why is it that we can't legislate versus it needs to be banned?
Well, I mean, we can legislate it. I think for some people, when I say some people, I mean representatives and perhaps lobbyists. I think the idea of legislating produces risk that it won't happen. And if they really want it to happen, it makes more sense to either just ban it or codify it in some law. That way they don't have to argue the point. Like part of the reason I think that people are so upset about Roe v. Wade is that by pushing it back to the states, now the people who want the abortions have to contend directly with the people who don't want abortions. And they don't want that because I don't think they win. I think people underestimate how many we'll call them pro-life, but they're really just like, dude, I don't really care, but I think it's kind of wrong to kill people type people, right? And
And
now they
one
have to
other
deal with them
thing
directly. They don't have the protection of a Supreme Court ruling where they don't have to argue the merits.
I was just gonna add in that like Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and pretty much I even say Obama. Like I was all swayed in, not so much with Kamala and Joe Biden, but Obama. I was swayed into believing that they were going to legalize marijuana. Now I think we all here smoke marijuana, and we've got no problem with marijuana. And they've been telling us for years that they were gonna, decriminalize it or move it out of section. What is it like section
One,
3? I
section
mean,
one. It's
Yeah,
section
section
one.
one.
section 1. Yeah, exactly. So you know what I mean. Like it's like one of the hardest substances, the most dangerous substances known to man.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're all talk. They'll
It's not
say
that
that
they're
they're
all
going to do
talk.
it.
It's not that
It's a
they're all talk.
legislation, and getting out there almost seems to really do nothing.
Well,
I mean,
they don't have the legislative will. Like the will is not there.
But individual states do.
Well, why have
Interestingly.
well, no, the individual states don't have the right to do so. Look at what they've done to California. Look at how many
Look at
places they've raided.
look at
How
what they
many
did in
places?
Colorado and haven't been raided.
Well, why haven't they been raided?
That's a very good question.
I thought Colorado was raided one time.
No. California's, I mean, hell, even Oklahoma's fairly open. I mean, that's
I
where
mean,
we get ours from.
it's been easy to get it medically in California since the '90s. So I mean, the amount of time that it's been available, just kind of you're gonna assume that there's gonna be more interactions from the feds. Maybe they
Mhm.
weren't playing ball the right way. Maybe they were dirty. Dealing drugs or dealing with Mexico. There's no real way to say like where those drugs were coming from, where the weed was coming from. Most of these places, you can show up and be like, "Hey, I got like some
Yeah.
extras," and
But
then you
on the
just pawn
topic
it
of it as
off.
a matter of law, part of it is okay, so you have the federal law against the use of marijuana, right? Sticking with this case scenario. Well, if a state decides to decriminalize it locally, technically they're in violation of federal law. However, if the state isn't willing to pursue it, if the counties aren't willing to pursue it, that means a federal officer has to. And realistically, what are the chances that they're going to dedicate federal officers to going and arresting people in a state who are recreationally and maybe not even publicly smoking some pot?
Probably low.
Now,
So,
technically, it's a gamble, but it's a gamble that are pretty good odds that they're going to get away with. Because the
Is it
only way to
possible?
remedy it is at the federal level. And at the federal level, you have representatives from that state who are going to be able to fight it. Now, don't get me wrong. Pot's one of those things. I'd be perfectly fine with them just straight decriminalizing it. Like, if you want to use it, use it. I don't feel the same way about cocaine, heroin, PCP, crack, crank, etc.
Frank.
Well, and things like that actually produce externalities in a way that marijuana doesn't.
Well, what about like how
And you're
like
right. You're right.
what
Well, I
What's
mean,
about
up,
how
Frank?
have you
Appreciate you
ever
for
heard of
stopping by, bro.
somebody smoking a blunt and then deciding I'm going to go
Hi.
kill people randomly? Whereas how many times have you heard about somebody hyped up on cocaine walking around stabbing people? Like, that's part of the difference. The big difference is externalities. And that kind of goes back to Roe v. Wade. The externality is the death of the baby. There is no procedure for an abortion that does not unequivocally end with the end of the life. And that's the externality.
that's depending on what you consider a life. I mean, if are you one of those people that believe birth it's at conception?
Morally, I believe a conception. Legally, heartbeat.
So it's not brain function; it's heartbeat. Okay, gotcha.
Did you?
Are we talking about personhood?
Well, and
Yeah.
and I have to make that distinction because I understand that there is a difference
Wait a minute,
between
Captain.
what.
What were you saying, Frank?
Are we talking about personhood considerations?
Yes.
All right.
All right, you good over there, bro? Oh, okay. Looks like he having connection issues over there. Hopefully, he is all right.
Damn North Carolina internet.
All right.
Who, me?
What's
I'm
up?
here.
What's up? What's going on?
Oh,
El
where's
Pryor.
old boy from then?
What's going on? You said hello? What state are you
Oh
from?
wait, he's not here to tell us. Oops.
Where are you coming from? And if you want to join the conversation, please join the Discord. But I definitely appreciate you for
So when it
stopping by
comes,
today.
like when you bring up making drugs legal and then
You're from
things like that, how do you feel about the things that occurred because of like the opioid crisis? Like,
I'm not even about
do you
to
remember when
try to pronounce
Crocodile
that.
and then bath
I
salts
probably know what
came
it
to
is,
the
but
states?
you know,
I mean, I
am
loosely
kinda high
remember it.
now,
I
so
was mostly out of the
I'm not
country
about
when
to
that
attempt to say
really
that
sprang
shit.
up.
But yeah,
And the
bro,
reason why
if you want
why I say it and I
to,
make the distinction
please
I
join
do,
the Discord and you can
it's
join this
for the same
conversation,
reason
bro.
that as a means of birth control
But I
or
definitely
family control,
appreciate
whatever they
you
want
for
to call it,
stopping by.
I'm against using
And I hope
abortion
you
for that.
enjoy the
However,
show.
I am absolutely
And hit
for
that follow if
the
you
use of
can
abortion
also,
in
bro.
cases of rape, incest, and
Please hit
where
that follow.
there is risk to the mother. And that's a differentiation across the board that I think is important to have. And I think some people forget that it's okay to have finely tuned ideas within something. You don't have to be, it doesn't have to be binary that it's either all okay or all not okay. But I think you can make a case that if most of it, if the majority of something is done almost recreationally and it's, not a positive thing to do, for lack of a better term, I think it's easier to make the case of why it shouldn't exist outside of very specific circumstances.
Since you say that, when I deal with conservatives offline or on Facebook or in some circles, it seems that they come from these places from an incredibly binary approach.
And that
so,
is a problem.
so my biggest thing is like, why hasn't in the 50 years that Roe v. Wade
And
was law,
El
why
Pyra,
haven't
what would you say that
why
you
hasn't Congress
are
crafted a
politically?
piece of
Like,
legislation
where do you lean? Are you more left? Are you more
that would
right? Or
function where no one really got what they wanted, but it was better all around? Like,
Well,
for instance, like just to give an example, for me, I would be perfectly fine with 12, 13 weeks, and maybe a few other odds and ends. Like, I would even be willing to get rid of Planned Parenthood with certain circumstances to make it.
Is that what the ruling like allowed? Is that every state gets to choose whether they want to do that or not?
yeah. So the ruling all the ruling did was divest the issue of abortions to the states, because all the ruling said was there is no constitutional right to an abortion, and that was
I understand that.
the.
I understand.
No,
What I'm talking about
no, I was
is that.
talking to him. He was asking about
Oh,
like what it
I'm
was
sorry.
doing.
You want like a flat rule then, where
I
like it
want a
affects every
federal.
state across the. All
I
right.
want a bipartisan federal bill. I want the government to function. Is basically what I want.
You are awfully idealistic, sir.
I am.
What about that? Like some states don't want to do what other states do, or don't want to,
yeah.
promote what other states like. I mean, don't you think that people should have the right to, not agree with
Of
that and
course.
not allow it in their area if
I
that's what they vote on and choose?
of
And as
course.
long as they're, peaceful, of course.
Like, well, and that's the thing. Like how I was saying earlier, like some things should be protected. Because like I personally do. Like the only personal problem that I have with abortion, it's just the rate that it's going at. I just feel like it needs to be slowing down. But I don't feel like there's really a way that you can do that because you can't really regulate. Uh, you know, well, I don't really see like a way regulating that or anything like that. So I just feel
What if
like
we like
people
wait?
should.
You're saying regulate and reduce the amount of abortions that occur?
Yeah, because I just feel like it's just done. Like I just feel like abortions are done at like a high rate right now. That
I
like
mean, that's not
I
wrong to assume. For
yeah
8 years in New York, there were more black babies aborted than were born.
yeah like and like just by saying that though, like I just feel like it kind of has a negative effect on society because it kind of gives uh I would say like it just kind of like makes society like a little bit more like irresponsible or whatnot. But I would just say that for like the people who I guess are misusing the system or whatnot, obviously you got the people who need to get the abortions or whatnot, not the people who I guess you can say who weren't being irresponsible or whatnot. But so that's just why I just think it's like an iffy situation because like you do need abortions and like especially since we've already had it implemented for so long. I definitely don't see don't think that is right at all that we should just take it away like that, even though it is up to the states. But
I mean,
which makes sense, because it's a very hard contradiction. But I just feel like, since the history, of it already being there, it's like, they got to do something else now,
Well,
since they already agreed to it.
the history of it is part of why even where states are passing laws that outlaw abortion, they don't make laws where you prosecute the mother. And that's because there's a term called mens rea, which is knowledge of harm,
they're
essentially.
trying.
Some states are trying, and hopefully they are unsuccessful. Though, so the problem is that especially during the time that Roe v. Wade has been in the system, women have been systematically told for decades that what is growing inside them is not actually a life worth valuing. It is just a cluster of cells. It's a parasite sucking nutrients from them, essentially.
Yeah.
And that getting an abortion is basically like having a polyp removed, to the extent that they don't see it at the level that, maybe the very conservative people or the generations before saw it. And people forget that
And this is
prior to
why
Roe v. Wade, a lot of states had outlawed abortions. And during that time, you had a whole lot of what you would call 7-month shotgun weddings because people were still engaging in the activity. And when the woman found out she was pregnant, the man, being responsible, married the woman and they had a family.
I mean, don't you think it would like? I feel like a lot of this is really it's really based on certain things that from the past that have just metastasized to like causing our country not to function, like libertarianism, a lot of rhetoric from JFK and Ronald Reagan that made it where we don't want to collectively take care of one another. I mean, if we passed laws that would incentivize people to have families, maybe people wouldn't want to have abortions.
Well, here I can make a pro-woman argument for why abortion should be outlawed. Now, and it's slightly vague, and I understand that there's some fine-tuning details that I haven't exactly worked through, but the essential idea is if you are a woman or if you're a male, right, and you're looking to engage in a sexual behavior, and if you know, especially in your state, that abortions are not allowed, and we all know that the state is pretty good at finding the deadbeat dads, and they are required by law to take care of the child, at least financially. Like there's no way around it. Do you think that those males would casually engage in that behavior as much if they knew that there wasn't, we'll call it the safety net of abortion.
Oh my, damn.
I mean, fathers don't even really get a say in abortion or not. I mean, they can be like, "Yeah, I want you to get an abortion," but it's really up to the woman. So, like,
So
in
you
a
want
lot of
to?
states,
But
you
but
could be
male
like,
but the fathers
"I
or
don't
the
want."
males don't have the option of saying, well, I don't want to be responsible for that kid. And I'm not saying they should. Like that's a whole different argument.
You know, you
I ain't
realize
Well,
that
never
that's
thought
fine.
about it
you
like that.
realize
That's
that your
But
logic
crazy.
no,
is
it's not a
you
different
realize
argument. It's
you
basically the
realize
same
that your
one that women.
hypothetical
Hold on, one
you
thing at
realize
a time.
you realize that your hypothetical is broken because abortion is not a social safety net because it's not funded by the state. It's not funded by the
Well,
federal government.
not
I
social
mean,
safety
it
net in
is
terms of funding
the
from the government, the social safety net literally from the social standpoint, from the communal standpoint. The communal standpoint being that by getting the abortion, the male is automatically it's not freed. There's another term for it, released from a duty to the woman or to the family, we'll call it. They are divested of a responsibility. And so if you're divested from a responsibility, you don't feel the weight of the action and the outcome of the action. So it doesn't bother you as much to do it.
Wouldn't it just be? I think it would be easier to incentivize families. That's not really like
I agree. I mean, yeah, nuclear family is a great thing. I also spent like 3 years of my life, like, uh, you know, 15 to 18, when I'd be in high school, final years of high school. I was taken away from my mother because I was suicidal, blah, blah, blah. She couldn't control me. And instead of being in jail for violating probation, not going to school, et cetera, she relinquished me to the state. So I grew up in the system. I lived with 75 other kids. I went from being in
My
juvenile
fault. I'm
hall to
sorry,
living at
bro.
like a placement
I got father
facility.
coffee over here.
And
Males
honestly,
should
like that was
also
probably the
have
best
a
experience of
say
my
if
life,
females want an
being
abortion.
around other kids my
Oh
age
yeah,
that I
bro.
live
Oh yeah,
with
bro.
that,
I
aren't
completely agree
related
with
to
you.
me in
Father
a different
coffee.
environment away from, we'll say, an abusive relationship, mother, kind of toxic relationship. I went from hating my life to, just
If you
being
could, Father
independent
Coffee,
and being
please hit that
emancipated.
follow. And what
And
state are
for
you from,
that,
by the way,
like, I
bro?
kind of
What state are you
don't really
from?
like abortion because I think someone like my own mother, would probably be more for abortion and not wanting me to be around, not wanting to have to deal with me, not wanting to have to help me, blah, blah, blah. So, I don't know.
Appreciate
That's
you
just
hitting that
my
follow.
take on
Appreciate
it.
that, bro.
what about
I
the
gotta
people
admit,
that hate it?
that's a pretty shitty situation to be in where being away from your parents is actually better. Like I get it. I as somebody who came from a pretty broken house, I understand.
But it's weird, like in the beginning years were great. And then as I got older, I just got like more rebellious because I didn't have like a father in the household, which kind of goes back to your whole nuclear thing. But still, being around like other kids that were going through it, I mean, it was like foster kids, like I was just a mother that, they didn't want to deal with. I mean, I lived with like kids that didn't actually have parents, were just given up for adoption. Were always in the system. So, like I kind of feel like I'm fighting for them too, because like I remember one kid, he was missing half of his face. Like
What the
literally
fuck?
didn't have an eye, right? His name
Oh,
was Bizarre. Like I felt for the kid because his name was Bizarre and he's missing half an eye. And I'm not even trying to be funny. Like literally he was a foster kid, no family, obviously given up for adoption, but like I guarantee you that kid would rather be alive than dead.
yeah.
You know, would rather be doing whatever he was doing that day or with us or, wherever he's at now. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's gone, but it's just different way to look at it.
I mean, devil's advocate, I would suggest that you talking about those experiences for some people makes the argument for abortion. Because for as much as the kid prefers to be alive, they say that because they're alive now. However, someone could make the case that, if abortion had been allowed, then they wouldn't have been in that situation in the first place. And that's not me making a pro-abortion argument. I'm saying that that is literally an argument that people have made as a pro-choice argument.
Yeah,
And it's
I mean,
not
it's
entirely
hard.
without merit.
I mean, I know other YouTubers out there that are like paraplegic, and they have to deal with trolling, but at the same time, there's usually people out there that give them money, and if you look at Howard Stern, can actually take whatever shitty life that that we would be like, oh man, that's hard breaks, kid. They can take that life and still make something of it,
Yeah.
and abortion, you kind of you just get rid of that ability for anybody to succeed or overcome, whatever bad cards you were dealt. I mean, you can't stop people from killing themselves, but you
I
can
mean,
prevent people from killing, I don't know, their
I've
unborn.
heard some pretty bad arguments when it comes to policy. Like, I'm used to hearing people fight within a context of an incredibly moral framework. So, like, for me, I think that I'm sorry, I don't want to change the topic. I feel like I'm changing the topic.
Oh no, no.
No, go ahead.
Now,
What are
the
you
nice thing
referring to?
about the nice thing about this stream is that even when things kind of go off topic, we have a way of bringing them back in. So, and sometimes you need
Well, I
that
didn't want to.
momentary break from the actual topic itself to get back there.
Okay, so take for instance, contraception. One of the things, I feel like a very cheap policy or a cheap piece of legislation that you could do nationwide would be to advocate or put condoms in bathrooms for high schools, colleges, and bars and places of that nature. I think that would be very easy to do. But I've heard
Well, for the
people,
most part, they are, and in high school, they give them out for free.
well, not mine.
Oh, did you ever ask?
Hilarious.
Oh well, back then you're not
Well,
allowed. Well,
and
back
that's
see,
another argument that was being made because the part of the problem is that women can't get contraceptives just over the counter for the most part, other than other than some basics. Like they can buy condoms, sure, but the problem they can't get birth control because it has medical implications.
well, mainly it was the reason that they can't get birth control, because when I was in school, I don't know how it is now, but when I was in school, it was abstinence. Do the promise ring, go to these pep rally, heavily full of religious context, and then they would have like a health class that would teach you how the mechanics of it, but then tell you not to do it. And the reason why it was
Oh
like
wow.
that is because they don't want to promote promiscuity, and that's what they viewed passing out condoms would do. It's like your authority saying it's okay to have sex. And
Mm-hmm.
I understand that, but at the same time, most I saw a lot of girls pregnant. Like when I was in school, I saw a lot of girls pregnant. And I think if you were handing out condoms, there probably would have been at least
Yeah, because at least they'll
5 or 6 of them that weren't pregnant.
they'll have access to it.
Now, when you brought up contraception, now you have people that argue for yes, the pill is free, but we have incredibly like contraception science has advanced in incredible ways. You can get shots now. You can get IUDs. you can get all kinds of far superior birth control, but it
What's up?
costs
What's up?
an
What's up?
exorbitant amount of
Mining
money
liberal salt.
for
You're
middle
mining
class
a
people, like
liberal salt. Wow.
first and
Contraceptions
second
and
class
abortion.
tiers of middle
Feed
class people.
women.
So, or I mean, third and
Well,
second.
thank you for stopping
That's
by, bro.
middle
Thank you for
class.
And
stopping
that's
by.
fair.
How's your night going so far? And what state are you
I
from?
mean, like, do you think?
And if you
Do
could,
you agree that we should
I've never
in a
been
legislative way,
before, Chan.
maybe the state or at least the federal,
Okay,
maybe the
okay,
federal
you're from
government? Like,
Ohio.
you
Okay.
seem like you would prefer
What
the
would you
states to do
say that
things.
you
If a
lean
state
politically?
made
Me
all forms of
personally, I
contraception
am
free,
center right.
male, female,
But if you could,
IUDs,
bro,
all of it
please hit that follow.
free,
Please hit that follow.
wouldn't that be far preferable?
Okay, you
I
say you
mean,
conservative as fuck.
in
We are
terms of
about choice.
accessibility, I think having all contraception being free would be a net good. There is a part of me that also thinks about the fact that the rise of birth control and better birth control has been a contributing factor, not the factor, but a contributing factor to the lack of, we'll call it wedlock intimacy.
I mean, are you again, like, it's like when you say things like that, it feels like you're inserting a moral context
Yeah, it's
onto
like you're
onto
Well,
other
it's
people.
you're
it's a
backed
cultural
by
context.
yeah, but that culture is backed by religion. Is what
Not strictly speaking.
Well, it's mainly the only reason that I bring it up is because you shouldn't want to. I don't think you're doing it on purpose. It seems like you're inserting your morality into strangers' lives.
I think I am inculcating the idea that there are certain behaviors that humans do that should not necessarily have limitations, but that it should be understood and respected that there are outcomes from it, and that over the many years and centuries we've been alive, that those systems up until recently had worked, and that there are things that have happened that have changed the culture, and I think that it has had a net negative effect.
I haphazardly agree with you, but I
Yeah, I
feel.
agree.
But the only reason I say haphazardly is because I think that you can go back to the night, like you can go back in time and find just as many negatives for any major positive that you have.
I
Or
don't think it's 50-50. I don't think it's close to 50-50.
you don't think it's close to 50-50? Like, what's the
No.
major one that you think of?
With regard to,
Well, anything from the past that made things better, like things give me something that's being eroded away.
like was said before, the nuclear family.
Well, was the nuclear family back then perfect?
No, nothing is. But the
Okay,
net
so what?
benefit was far better than the community of broken families, we'll call it.
I think that I think a lot of the nuclear families that were forced or did shotgun weddings, created a vast array of toxic environments and created a plethora of men and women that didn't know how to raise their families because of that
Well, hell,
for,
we got people today that don't know how to raise a family, and
right,
they're not even connected to them.
because of how they were raised by the family that didn't know how to raise a family.
But they did
Nowadays,
know how to raise a family, but they spend so much time. In that particular case, I think it is an issue of the previous generations put so much effort into making the lives of the next generations better externally, that the family did suffer. I don't think that was the only thing. I think it was one of the things. And as a result, and for now we'll use the term, I don't think it's the right term, and I'll try and find the better word for it, but the privilege of the following generation to not live in a family environment or communal environment that was so arbitrarily adhesive, right? So, generations ago, it was when, you went to school, you grew up, you did something responsible, you found a wife, you created a family and created the next generation. And then through raising them, inculcate the ideas and the values of the family so that they go on and do the next thing. So that they go on and do the same thing with the next generation. The idea being making each generation better, but following a basic framework. And right about the 1950s, maybe 60s, that broke, or something started breaking it.
Well, a lot of that broke because of the war. A lot of I don't know specifically, but I've seen a lot of connections brought up between um World War II ending and our our veterans coming back, and they had been changed, and this caused the typical cycle to be broken because of the emotional and
I could believe that.
the strenuous effects of the war. I mean, you had think about America back then. You had all of the vast majority of men going to war, and then you had women who gained a massive amount of independence because they were working in the factories. It it created a weird paradigm shift.
And while I think it is good that women became more empowered in society, I don't think there's such thing as a free lunch. And I think that the effect of that increased, we'll call it uh, increased activity and production in the world outside of family came passively and maybe accidentally at the cost of the family unit and raising the family unit and the idea of how the gender roles worked at a basic level, not at a uh, goddamn, I'm trying to think of the word.
What do you mean?
I mean, didn't this all really start though in the '60s? You guys were talking about the end of World
A
War
lot of
II.
it.
World
Well,
War
the
II
people that were
ended
in
in
World War II were
Oh, I
like
meant the Great
18,
War. I'm
19.
sorry, World
So
War One. I'm talking about like World War One and
I think actually no, you were on the right track with it being World War II because you have to remember that most of those people came, by the end of World War II, 1945.
I
Fast
think
forward 20 years, and those people are in their mid 30s. Their kids are teenagers. So the effect of what you were referring to would have most definitely affected how they were interacting with the teenagers, and those teenagers being the first generation that were being raised after a war and not having a war to define them, causing a generational rift in how they viewed responsibility. And then an uprising of rebellion, social rebellion happened at the same time because you had one generation that was feeling one way about things and they had those experiences kind of guiding them. And then you had a generation that didn't have that. And so they didn't have that framework with them to work. And so they said, well, we can do it differently because they didn't have those experiences. And I'm not saying they needed to have them, but that the different experiences of each of them growing up is really where the split happened. If you're following.
I mean, it'd be like the '70s for me. Vietnam, the end of Vietnam, during Vietnam,
well,
maybe
I think if
'60s
you
culture movement.
I think if you look at a lot of the wars, every time we've had a major warlike event, it's made us more emotional. A lot of the wars, it it makes people
I'd
emotionally
agree.
aware of things. Like especially when you bring up Vietnam, because Vietnam was an incredibly psychedelically trippy war because a lot of the veterans that came back were addicted to drugs, like really, really bad.
Well,
They were.
bigger than that, it was the first truly politically divisive war. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, of course.
historically, you never had a case of soldiers coming back being called baby killers for no reason other than being in Vietnam. For example, you never had massive protests against World War II, for example. You didn't have massive protests against World War One. You didn't
Right. Well,
really
they were
have a whole,
justified. They were justifiable.
right. But Vietnam was the first time where society was like, we're not sure we need to be doing this war. And they realized they had the power to protest it and to go against it. I mean, that was also a generational shift because those previous generations were like, hey, we fought the big wars and it was a net good, and we don't do these things for no reason. And I'm sure the arguments that they actually made were better, but that's the foundational argument really between the two
Now,
sides.
when it comes to abortion, um, and I like the biggest point when it comes to this stuff to me is that I want it to be a legislative thing. I don't want it to just disappear. Even you don't want it to disappear. You said that you're in favor of, in case of rape or incest.
Right.
Um, so what are we going to do about the potential of conservatives that are going to outright ban it altogether? And
The same thing with anything else at a state legislative level,
Captain,
vote them out of office.
Captain, but what do you think that will do to society? Though? That's my
What do you mean?
biggest question.
well, it's going to I can answer this. It's going to radicalize a lot of people. This is my greatest fear.
Because they
Nightmare.
haven't been already.
And this is what I'm thinking also. It's just gonna make people, yeah, it's gonna radicalize them and
Now,
like
you may not.
push them to do like things that they otherwise wouldn't do.
Like
Well,
my biggest fear. Have I talked? Like, if I've talked to you, is someone able to have a point?
no, just keep going.
Okay,
No, go ahead.
my biggest fear right now is that the like Biden and Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer are going to lose whatever control and moderation that they have left because of this. Because if you look at the current leadership of the Democratic Party, they are scared shitless of the progressive wing. And the reason is because a lot of the progressive voters are just batshit crazy angry. We're so the left is so angry because we've been
Well,
begging the right to come to the table that and nothing has happened.
I mean, I don't like
Well,
Nancy.
hold on. Let's be fair. About half the time when the left is begging Republicans to come to the table, they're begging them to come to the table to bend the knee.
What
The moderate Democrats are trying to work with them bipartisanly, but a lot of the really super progressive ones are just trying to get the Republicans to bend the knee.
what were you saying?
Like
I was saying
what
I'm
he
not
was.
for either Chuck Schumer or Nancy Pelosi. I would love to get both of them out of office.
Yes, I think we
Oh, I
all
agree.
I agree with you too. But what I'm saying is that there are leadership. You know how like you have a lot of conservatives that may like look to Trump for leadership. You have leftists that look for them, and like I hate Nancy Pelosi. I wish she would disappear. Like go to a retirement home. She deserves it. She can hardly talk. Um, but I'm not
She's
like
got like George Soros money.
well, I wouldn't say
She's
she
got
has
insider legislative trading money.
right, which
Anybody who thinks her riches came from anything other than having inside knowledge as a result of being a policymaker hasn't been paying attention.
is
But
incredibly
that's a whole nother
Seriously.
debate.
that's incredibly disgusting. Like I'll quickly agree with you on all of that. But but, but my biggest point is that I think that this is going to create a lot of anger and you're going to see movements to like how we've been hearing rattlings of modifying the filibuster or
Hacking the court.
packing the court. All of these things may
So what's
very
up,
well
Blizzard?
be, become far more palatable because of the sheer amount of voices that they're going to be hearing. And like, I'm not in favor of any of those things, but as a gay person, as a left leaning moderate, like I'm when I look at the right, I'm far more fearful of what they're going to do.
What
Like,
up, everybody?
no,
Well, I mean,
if it was
if
filled with
if you're
Catholics,
looking at it on the state level, I can see why. Like if you living in North Carolina, I can see why that would be of concern. I think it's less of a concern at a national level because there are so many other people that they have to pit their idea against that it creates a kind of de facto moderation or like some kind of weird detente, politically speaking. Whereas agreed that at the state level, certain things that would not be accepted nationally are more likely to pass, and that's something that, like I said, the voters can take care of. And maybe it is a case, and I'm not advocating for it, but maybe there is the case that using Roe v. Wade as an example, you know, as it stands, there are
do you
people that
really
move
think that
from state to state based on the
do you
taxes, the
really
local
think the state
taxes.
has that? Do you really feel? I don't know if it's just me, but when I look at the states and how they currently function, I feel like they're way too gerrymandered to actually be the voices of the people. I mean, if you look at how badly the all of the states are gerrymandered, they're not really
Well,
voicing.
well, the nice thing is that each time there's elections, there's gerrymandering on both sides. I mean, we can argue whether it's 50-50 or
I'm not
lopsided, but
talking about that. I'm just saying the gerrymandering in general. I don't care who's doing it.
right. But
Well, I mean, gerrymandering is completely legal, and gerrymandering, in my view, actually overwhelmingly helps the left. Otherwise, it'd be like the municipal areas would have the Democratic representation, and everything else would be Republican. You'd have far less representation if it wasn't gerrymandered.
I'm not sure I would agree with that.
I mean, well, all I'm saying is like the districts need to be done by independent bodies. It does
But
not
there
make
is no
any.
independent bodies, realistically. At the local level, I don't think there is. I think there's a vested interest in any given person for their.
Do you really think? Do you really think that the party that wins should draw the maps for the next election?
Well, obviously, I don't think that it should be redrawn at all. I think there needs to be arbitrary lines based on, say, existing districts. But what
Yeah,
I'm
you
saying
don't.
is
The
that
districts
there's
Well,
are
no
every
way
those
you
10
should,
years, right? Based off
those
the
districts
census.
change based on their population. It
unless
has
it is an equal committee level. Like, okay, just as an arbitrary example, if you said there was a committee in each state, right? And that committee was made up of, we'll just make a random number, 10, right? 5 Republicans, 5 Democrats. And they had to get together every so many years to determine the districts, right? That would be one thing because you've addressed the two biggest concerns. One
That's what
is
they want.
ideological priors, and two, it prevents one side winning and then redrawing and then the other side winning and redrawing.
That's what
However, the problem is if that committee exists, why would they need to redraw districts? What would be the benefit? Like,
they
are
redraw.
they gonna
They
have a bidding
redraw the
match?
districts. They redraw the districts because the population changes. Those
True.
those things are like the districts are redrawn for legitimate reasons.
Well,
All I,
then I'll address
all I,
that with this. If you have the committee and they draw the lines, would you then say that maybe it's beneficial for local governance to zone areas? Let's say they drew up 3 districts. One district is heavily populated, one is more sparsely populated, and one is like basically empty land. Could there be a case to be made that keeping those divided equally but incentivizing development in that third area would negate the need to redraw the district because now you can just equalize the population over time?
you, I, I'm not sure exactly what you're wanting me to say. I don't think that that is relevant when we when realistically we're dealing with states that are controlled by governments that are using their power to systematically with computers and technology to silence the vote. And there is a video that you can go from my state represent from my government where a politician actively admits to saying that if we could reduce it to where the Democrats had only one representative, we would do it. But this is the only way. This is the most scientifically drawn way of doing it. It's actively silencing the representation and
Well, I
sub.
mean,
Well, then
admitting that they
obviously that would
would,
be a
and
problem.
also admitting that they're not allowed to, would kind of go against your point here. Because I mean, no matter what these redistricts look like, they still have to hold up to challenges in court, right?
No,
Not always.
not
Not
always.
always,
See, it's
right?
even
But
it's
they
even
have to
worse.
be able to.
It's even
Is
worse
my point.
because it's even worse because if you don't forget that during I think it was the one of the last 2 years of Obama's presidency, his second term, they removed the what was that one act that made sure that this the districts weren't racist or
You mean the redlining?
not redlining. No, I'm talking about voting. Basically, they removed a part of the Voting Rights Act. They ruled it unconstitutional. And here, you guys talk. I'm going to Google it because I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk shit off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
If
It just sounds like
it's weird
a
because
direct
if
democracy argument to me. Actually, like all of it, it all just sounds
well, I
like a
mean,
direct democracy
at
argument,
the
and
local level, it really is direct democracy because the representatives are voted directly by the people and the majority wins.
right. But
So,
nobody's talking about locally. I mean,
well,
right.
we technically are. When you're at the state level, when you're at the state and district level where the gerrymandering happens, that counts as local. Local in regards to the winner of that election makes decisions that are of direct consequence to the state
Well, it
and
sounds
by
more
virtue of
like
that your
uh
community.
uh. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's all right.
I was
It's
just saying
section
that
4.
it's just, go ahead.
You sure?
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, I actually want to look it up too when you bring it up.
Okay, the Section 4 of the Voting Rights Act of 1965 is unconstitutional because it violates the Fifth Amendment, since its provision can ever only be applicable to certain subdivisions under the United States of America without regarding equal sovereignty. That's what was removed and why.
I'm slightly confused. Can you link that in Discord or Twitch?
Okay. That was from the Wikipedia. Is that okay?
Yeah, I mean, we all
Okay.
know
I
Wikipedia is
some
good enough
people
for
don't
some
like
stuff.
Wikipedia. I can
I'm
find
a
people.
righty, so I like to send out like Huffington Post and CNN and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, at least you use CNN. I know people that don't even read it. Can I send it to you directly, Captain?
Well,
I mean,
You
if
could
you
post
want, I
it in
figured
the
it's
general
pretty.
chat or in
Yeah,
the
Oh, the general
stream
chat.
chat.
that way everybody can see it. Yeah. I'm gonna have to mute my mic soon. The puppy woke up. He's gonna need feeding.
But
He
is the
gets
argument that
loud.
you don't think we have like adequate representation in the House of Representatives? Do you think that there should be more Democrats or something?
I just don't think it's. I don't think the representation is properly done. I don't. It, I mean, if you look at the way that they're doing this gerrymandering, they're making it where no matter how many people vote, the representation's not going to be equal. Like if you look at all of how many people vote democratically or for the left or for the blue side, there's far more many people, but there's less blue representatives. So it's something is going on that's not
I'm
parsed
getting
out
confused
properly.
on what you're talking about.
Well, I mean, a lot of this comes now. If you do look into it further, a lot of this goes to where a lot of people bring all this stuff up because they want to get rid of the Electoral College. I'm going to go ahead and preface that I am not in favor of getting rid of the Electoral College. I'm just saying that if you look at how the country is represented and how many people vote Democrat, the representation doesn't add up. I could find more information if you want me to.
Yeah, it just sounds like a criticism of a representative republic that we have. I mean, it's like civics 101, like the Great Compromise. There's only a certain amount of electoral votes that number doesn't change, so we have to divvy it up as best we can.
Well, I
This
think
is
it would
just the
it
way
would
things
also
are.
be a different story if we actually had 100% participation in the vote.
We've gotten
Yeah, for
close. I
sure.
mean, if we've gotten close, we've gotten to 70%, right?
Yeah, but that's
That was a bit of
absolutely
an
not
outlier.
the average, not the
Yeah,
expected.
you guys are going to
What do
get
we
accused of
average, like
glory.
30%?
The
Uh,
average
yeah, the
keeps
average is
going up
30 to
every year.
35.
It keeps going up, depending on what you're talking about. Which voting thing?
Well, I mean, if you're talking about presidential elections, which I think is a good arbiter, only because when politics are national, more people tend to get involved and can be better represented. And the average is like 30-35%.
I hear this argument a lot about like the inherent anti-democratic Senate and Electoral College and Supreme Court, and it's like, well, yeah, it's because it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be representative, right? I mean, that's
I mean,
why we call ourselves a republic and not a direct democracy.
people forget the republic part. I don't know why. I wish people could remove themselves from the be
So,
neutral
like
at least.
in my view, it's like you're kind of right when you say that we're on the verge of our democracy dying, because you're thinking people are not you in particular. I'm just saying people say that, and what they're talking about is their view of what democracy should be, and it's like, well, yeah, that is dying because they're realizing that that's not what we are.
Yeah.
Well, and people also forget like the representative part of the democracy is the House, because the number of representatives is based on the population of the state. So
Yeah,
different states have different numbers of representatives,
right. The House is
whereas the
supposed to
Senate is
represent the actual
arbitrarily
people, right?
right because they're the ones most accountable.
I'm trying to remember how. I think it's per. I think every state is supposed to. I don't know if this is true or not. I think I've read it once where for every 770,000 people, you're supposed to get a new representative. But here, let me look that
But
up.
that was my point earlier, is that there is no new representative. You don't like add to. There's a certain amount of seats, and that never changes.
Yeah, it's 433.
Well, the same thing happens with the electoral college. Population changes after a certain point change the number of electoral votes that a state has. It's just that the number tends to be so high that it hasn't really changed much.
Right,
But in
and some
theory,
other states are so low that they're still guaranteed one, right?
yeah.
They're guaranteed 2.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Now in theory though, the mass exodus of California, which is seeing a net population loss, with places like Texas seeing a net population gain, it's possible for the first time we might actually see a change in the number of electoral votes that a given state has. And
yeah, no,
hasn't
that already
for a long
happened.
time.
California lost one, Florida lost one, and Illinois lost one.
Florida didn't lose population. Florida gained population.
Oh,
New York
not
lost
Florida, New York.
population.
I'm sorry, New York.
Yeah, New York.
All three lost a representative, and Florida gained a representative.
Mm-hmm.
I think Florida and Texas.
if y'all could, everybody up in the stream, please hit that
Do you
follow.
guys
Please hit
remember
that
when they talked
follow.
about splitting
And if
California
y'all
up?
haven't already, please join the
Yeah,
Discord.
there's
I would
yeah,
constant
greatly
talks about that.
appreciate it. But
And
I hope everybody
Republicans
is
instantly
enjoying
killed
the
it because
show.
they realized the
Thank
folly of
y'all
it, because
for stopping by.
it would
I
Yeah,
give
really
it would
appreciate
give
it.
it would have
Democrats
like
more senators.
the number 2 economy on the planet in the state of California.
Well, I mean, it would basically just give Democrats 4 more senators.
It would give Republicans one more senator as well. Like because the whole idea is that technically speaking, California is segregated north to south between Democrat and Republican. Majority of Northern California is Republican. It's also less populated, so the net gain of there wouldn't be as much a net gain for the right as there would be for the left, but I think overall it would be fairly minimal. And I don't think there's enough of a difference to justify separating the state.
Are any of you guys worried? I know this isn't on topic, but are any of you guys worried that the exodus from these overcrowded states is going to change the voting demographics of the states that they move to?
So
I
are
think
you
they might
talking
change some
about
locally.
like people from California moving to Texas?
Yeah, like, do you think that people moving from California are going to be like?
So to be completely honest with you, I do feel like in a couple years, Houston specifically is gonna become more liberal. Austin's gonna become more liberal.
Austin, I don't know if it can become more liberal.
Right? No,
You're
seriously.
thinking of Austin.
But and then Dallas, I'm not really sure because I'm not really too familiar with Dallas.
I mean, that just goes along with the natural order of things, right? The big metropolitan areas tend to lean to the left.
But
Yeah.
I just pray that like, oh man, I just please don't mess up Texas. Oh my god, please don't mess
Well,
I
up
don't
Texas.
think you can mess up Texas, because a lot of the left that are moving out of California, they agree with the conservative economic policy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And it's also not entirely Democrats that are moving from
Yeah,
states.
right.
Like, I mean, and it's
True.
not California, but for example, the construction machine company Caterpillar announced that they were moving their corporate headquarters out of Illinois and into Texas. And I can tell you, as somebody who works for Holtcat, the vast majority of Caterpillar is Republican. So
Yeah,
they're bringing like
a lot of people are leaving.
25,000 people to the Dallas
A lot
Fort Worth
of
area.
a lot of corporate headquarters are leaving Chicago right now. It's like
Boeing did too.
normal thing. But I think that as far as changing the demographics, I think we could focus more on like New Mexico, Nevada, Colorado has already felt a little bit of that demographic change with Californians moving there because I mean,
Demographic or
liberals don't really
ideological?
want to move to Texas. You know, that's just how it is.
I think we need to parse it out better. We're not talking demographics. We're talking ideological difference.
Yeah.
Or political. I guess political demographic would be the
Yeah,
an
that's
apt
what I
term.
was talking about, the political demographics changing.
Puppy, you spilled milk all over my shirt. I got a 4-week-old rescue puppy that is very messy eater.
But I don't think that those political ideologies really bear themselves out down ballot. You know what I mean? I
Well,
think they generally stay the same down ballot. It's just like the
I think for
presidential
local
races that
elections, but I don't think for national or state level. Like, I could see them voting for Democrat mayors, but Republican governors type thing, because it's those state level representatives that operate Texas the way it does. And so if they do understand that, what makes the difference between California and Texas, I think that's how they'll vote. Maybe
I think they'll
national elections,
definitely.
it might change things, but
I would think that they would definitely get rid of Ted Cruz.
Cruz isn't going anywhere.
I don't know if you look.
It was like Marco Rubio. No matter how much people don't like him everywhere else, like they're not going anywhere.
I don't
They're
know.
gonna be
Like, if you remember that one election where it was him versus Beto O'Rourke, from the last election to his current one, he went from 13 points to 3 points. He won by 3 points. Like,
Yeah, but now the lead is open back up again. O'Rourke doesn't even have a chance of beating Greg Abbott for the governor spot.
I know,
Yeah,
which is
absolutely not.
which is depressing.
Fucking skateboard Beto.
I mean, I don't like Beto. I think Baylor is a shill, but at the same time, I don't like Abbott either.
He's literally what Republicans think of when they are drawing the caricature of a gun grabber. Like, it's not going to work in Texas.
Well, to be fair, he literally put on his website and has changed it multiple times. No, I don't want to take your guns. Yes, I do want to take your guns. No, I don't want to take your guns, and all
Yeah.
based on whatever the local situation.
Yeah, there's no way. He's going to end up running for mayor by the time he's done with politics because he can't do anything else.
Maybe he thinks he has a better chance of pulling a Buttigieg.
Yeah.
I really hope that Buttigieg runs for president.
I don't think he'll win. I think he'll do better than most of the other Democrat candidates in the file. But
I think he's clearly the future of the Democratic Party.
Let me rephrase. Let me rephrase. If DeSantis runs, Buttigieg doesn't win. If Trump runs and Buttigieg's primary is Biden, I think Buttigieg wins.
I think Buttigieg could beat DeSantis.
I don't think he could.
Absolutely not. Buttigieg can't even.
Buttigieg oversaw the worst supply chain crisis in the history of this country since the Great Depression, and did not do a phenomenal job.
Anybody connected to this cabinet and this administration is pretty much toast. I mean, I hate to tell you guys.
And Kamala Harris won't run if she has any brain cells whatsoever. She couldn't even
get the support
of her own state during the primary.
They killed her career by giving her the border. Like, they did that on purpose. They were so stupid.
Yeah, Biden tried to dump everything in her lap at the beginning, and then it didn't work out so well. So
you can only watch so many dominoes fall before you realize the table's unsteady.
Mm-hmm. I felt bad for Kamala Harris. Was like,
as a conservative, I kind of felt bad for her too, because I mean, I think she's a terrible politician and not the absolute greatest person. But yeah, they definitely intentionally pushed her in front of the skis. Like, wow. I mean, if anybody ever wanted to make the colloquial argument that Democrat Party is more racist than Republicans, what happened to Kamala Harris would be a great set of evidence. I mean, they waterboarded her career.
Yeah, I just don't understand why that was why that was the thing. Why? I mean, even still, like her career was already in shambles anyway. There's just poor narratives around her, and like
her career was over as soon as she bowed out of the race.
Any favors for how she behaved.
Yeah, her political career was over as soon as she lost and had to cede in the primaries. It was just her consolation prize. Is like, okay, since you're done.
Before her own state voted because her own state was going to give her less than like 5%. When you can't even carry your own state in the primary, oof.
What's up, Zay?
Not to mention, it didn't help that Tulsi Gabbard just straight took her to the shed.
Oh yeah, got her.
Oh my God, took her to the shed. Whew.
I wish Tulsi Gabbard didn't go insane.
Fair. If there was a non-Republican I would be willing to vote for, it would be a Tulsi Gabbard without the spirit stones and the airbag.
What do you think about Trump Gabbard
as a ticket?
Yeah.
I don't. Okay, so this will require a little bit of explanation, probably. I voted for Trump in 2016 and 2020 on policy, not on his personality, which is to say I held my nose when I pulled the lever. I did it in 2016 because I was not voting for Hillary Clinton. There was no way. The level of corruption, her attitude towards people or towards the voting public, there was just nothing policy-wise that I supported. I took a chance on Trump.
She didn't have
policy-wise.
She didn't have anything.
Well, yeah, Hillary was a cunt.
The first.
I can agree. Hillary was a cunt. I can agree with that.
I always said that Hillary Clinton was the grandmother that.
What's up? What's up, everybody? What's up, Liz? What's up, going? What's up, Captain NDD? What's up, y'all?
What's up?
Hello.
But I will say the reason I voted for Trump in 2020 was strictly because of the policy things that he did that I supported. And
The Supreme
like there
Court.
are some things he like what?
Yeah, what
let's see.
policies Trump had that you was just like, oh yeah, that's my guy.
For starters, his SCOTUS justice choices, which is obviously bearing fruit right now.
That's what I'm talking about.
Huh?
So that's what I'm talking about.
So
Was that a pick? Was that the pick Obama was supposed to have?
Garland.
So
the
interesting.
The current head of the FBI was supposed to be Obama's Supreme Court justice, but he was
Not the
gridlocked.
FBI. He's the Attorney General.
And for the record,
Oh,
there is precedent for what the Senate did in holding off during an election year. It's actually been done before. It wasn't some unprecedented move. It was done in 1944, it was done in 1921, and it was done in 1886, I believe.
I mean, that wouldn't have changed anything. If Merrick Garland was on this court, it would have been a 5-4 vote, and it still would have happened.
Well, and there also would have been more. I think there would have been more. I don't want to call it anti-constitutional. I think that's a bit derogatory. I think there would have been more rulings that would have been in favor of reducing more broadly accepted rights that affected more people.
Possibly.
Merrick Garland was also one of the people who supported the DC gun ban, which was ruled unconstitutional.
Yeah.
As an example.
I mean, and obviously the roles call for different actions, but if anybody's basing his performance as AG on if he would have been,
oh yeah, how
well
about the
served
fact
in
that
the Supreme Court, it's toast as well.
Well, I mean, okay, another good recent example of
B?
why him
B
being on the
from
bench would have been
YouTube.
terrible. Look at
I
how he's
appreciate you
handling.
for stopping by,
in the
bro.
lead up
He said
to,
no
because
more
some people may not pay
abortions.
attention
Today
to
was a miracle.
In the lead up to the Roe v. Wade decision,
bro.
after the leak happened, there was an assassination attempt. And we be clear about this. There was an
Definitely
actual
appreciate you for
assassination
bro.
attempt
For sure. What
on
state
a
are you
Supreme
from, by the
Court
way?
justice.
He said no
And
more
the
abortions for
willingness to do
women
that
and men.
arose from
No more
active and borderline violent protests in front of justices' places of residence. When there are laws, state and federal laws, that prohibit such activity
what state are you from?
in front of court.
Unenforced, right?
Yeah, and guess who has the power to enforce them?
Yeah.
Oh wait,
the Attorney General.
I'm guessing that you're
Wait a minute, wasn't the
more
person that did that,
huh?
wasn't he mentally ill?
Yeah, why did they ever say why he did that? Why he had that list of people he was trying to knock off?
From what I understand, he was just he
You said
wasn't
man
in
can't
his
get
right
pregnant.
mind.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. I mean,
discriminate.
if schizophrenic kills somebody,
you
it's
aren't
still
in their right mind. The person who shot at the
Anybody
congressional
can get
baseball team
pregnant.
wasn't in his right mind, but he was a ardent Bernie Sanders supporter. And while
I was going to bring that
if
up,
you could please hit
to
that.
the politician, that
please hit
Bernie Sanders
subscribe.
Say that Republicans want to
please
kill
hit that
your
subscribe,
family.
bro.
They want to let
and
you die.
if you like these type of conversations, please join my Discord.
To go shoot up a bunch, try and shoot a bunch
Man,
of
hell nah, Bernie, y'all ain't gonna put that on Bernie. Bernie Sanders ain't have nobody going to kill them.
No, we're saying for the same reasons you can't put that on Bernie.
We're saying, I'm saying I
bro.
don't put that on Bernie. However, that person was motivated by his reception of Bernie's message.
Nah, I don't know about that.
Yes,
so
he admitted
it's not really like. I think this just. I just think I would blame this
on that one.
I blame this on the country's gridlock. The reason the person that was sick in the head, the reason that he didn't get attention is because there's gridlock and nothing has been done via mental health.
Well, that's a whole different discussion.
I think they locking the wrong motherfuckers up. They need to be putting these so-called mentally ill people up in jail. For real, or
know what they actually do?
Not like imprison them like that, but I mean like put them like people that show signs of the type of behaviors, man, isolate them from society and figure out what's wrong with them.
What they generally do, I don't know if some states still do it, but from what I understand, what they'll do is that if you show mental signs, what they'll do is they'll give you a bus ticket and send you to California.
Damn.
I mean,
it's documented. It's documented.
That's what they do with illegal immigrants. They give them a bus
that's what they do with homeless people all across the country.
They really send their ass to Cali. That's funny.
If y'all could, please hit follow.
They do the same thing to Austin.
Hit subscribe.
Look at how big the homeless population in Austin has exploded in the last 6 years.
I would greatly appreciate it. So thank y'all for watching.
Maybe the homeless going to Austin to make a political stance. Like, this is the capital. Look what y'all got. Maybe, I don't know.
No, because they'll just say, "Oh God, they're doing
Welcome to Little Cali.
They're doing the next Chapo." Oh, please no.
I hope that people moving to Texas realize that it's the red around Austin that allows Austin to stay weird. You know what I mean?
Hey, y'all think Texas is turning blue the next 8 years?
Nope.
Okay. You said 8 years.
Nah, yeah, you gotta make sure everybody move over here. No, I'm talking about all the liberals from everywhere coming over here, bro. I'm telling you, it's about to get real blue up in Texas. That's why the Republicans redrawing lines and shit. They try to make sure they win it.
Cause that shit about to switch red, bro. That's what about to swing.
One thing I give the Republicans, bro, they crooked and corrupted, but they don't give a fuck about it. Like the Democrats are trying to lie and sugarcoat shit for you. The Republicans be like, bitch, this is what we doing. We taking away your rights, and like y'all just got to do it.
Yeah, we're saying we're not lying to you.
Yeah, we're literally fucking you over. Like, this is what we do. Like, you know, and they just like, you got to respect that at some point. You know what I'm saying? More so than the Democrats who lie. That's why I don't know. Trump 24 might be my thing. Which y'all think?
No, DeSantis.
DeSantis.
I'm not voting for no DeSantis. Anything that comes out of Florida need to stay in Florida, bro. Don't need to be running shit. I'm telling you that.
I'll vote for anyone that's blue.
Hell no.
Nah. I've had this conversation
I'm not
with a bunch
voting.
of people. Who do you think could win for blue? Who could actually win?
Well, I mean, right now,
Bernie Sanders gonna run for the 8th time.
Please God, no.
He's way too old now.
Please
I'm so tired of bitching fuckers. Okay, look, I don't want someone that's old. I think Pete Buttigieg can do it, but he's too robotic. He needs to go.
Thank you.
He needs to get fucking stoned or do some fucking mushrooms
he's
before
a
he
puppet.
gets on. He's not as bad. Like there are worse puppets than Pete Buttigieg.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, he just seems like you said, a robot for the establishment. That's how I would put him. Like, he's
too white.
Says whatever.
He's too white. He's too
too white.
He's too white. He's too perfect.
All of it is too white to me.
Well, no, I just mean he's too mayonnaise. It's just wrong. Like
Biden is like, oh my God, Biden is that expired. That boy need to sit in. We need to go to sleep, boy.
Look, Biden is pasturated milk that he's racist pasturated milk. Okay,
and he like kids. Like, you couldn't convince me that this dude was like the one. I'm like, y'all see him touching and sniffing these kids, bro? Everybody's like, oh, you gotta be scared of Trump. Trump is big bad. I'm like, look, we gonna skip Trump, right? Yeah, he allegedly assaulted some people too back in the day.
At least he didn't say he would date his daughter. Okay, at least he didn't say he would date his daughter.
Nah, he just give yours a massage and sniff her.
Yeah, I don't know if you've read his
Biden
daughter's diary that leaked out, but there's a whole bunch of shit said in there.
Who's you talking about? Trump? Trump daughters?
Biden's daughter.
Oh wow, really?
Oh, for real? I didn't even hear about that.
I heard about it. I just didn't give a damn. Like, I don't care about their personal lives. I really don't.
No, that's something to care about. No, like that type of incest. You're a president.
Your personal life affects your professional life.
If you're a president, I feel like if any occupation, it would be president of the United States. Like, you can't be. But I ain't gonna lie, Trump and Ivanka probably. I don't know. All them dudes is weird. All them dudes is too weird.
But yeah, like, it depends on who runs when it comes to the Democratic Party. Like, if some no-name person like appears and gains support, I probably would back them. But like,
I just can't see anybody beating Trump or DeSantis, either or. Like, nobody on the Democratic side can beat
the Democrats fucked this up.
I think I would have to fall on the sword and vote for Bernie Sanders. Like, if he was on the ticket, I'd probably vote for him.
Oh, I'm for sure going in for Bernie.
Yeah, I could probably agree there, but I think that's like fucking 4 years over, past the ticket.
Yeah, I mean, at least he's not like on life support and a vegetable like Biden. Like, but at the same time, he could be that way at any moment. He could croak tomorrow.
Nah,
Bernie he could win, but I don't think the Democrats would ever let him win a primary.
Nah, yeah, that's another thing why they turned me off by the Democrats. Like how they just sabotaged this shit for Hillary. They thought Hillary was gonna beat
And then
Trump.
sabotaged him
That's
for
crazy.
Biden too with
they're
Super
the
Tuesdays.
reason that they're doing this because they're super fucking afraid. They're afraid of Bernie Sanders. They're
Yeah,
afraid
it's
of
because
what
the
he did.
moderate wing of the
Hey,
Democrat
Goon,
Party isn't
remember
going to
what I
give up
told you the
power.
other day about my view of Bernie Sanders?
What's that?
What was that?
He represents where the party. He's represented where the party's going to be in about 10 years.
Yep, I could agree with that.
His
Nah,
problem is
The
that he came
Republican
to
Party
where
is turning more populist, and the Democrat Party is turning more sock demi, I'd say.
I say both
Yeah.
parties are just losing. Like maybe I think maybe like a third party. Third party is going to become popular, but not what we see like the Libertarian and Green Party. I'm talking about like a whole
well, if
different
they
thing.
can
Like
find a not stupid or crazy candidate, and that's going to
Well,
be hard.
Either way,
unfortunately,
I don't think a third party is legitimate. I think that third party will just take over one of the parties that are established using like the infrastructure. I
not
don't
take
think that
over.
a new party can fucking come up. Period.
yeah, because
Like,
America has a status quo that no matter what political party you align with, it's going to follow that
would
fucking
you guys
narrative.
be? How mad would you guys be if Trump ran third party?
I
I
would
wouldn't be
I
mad
would
at all.
be on his motherfucking squad. What you mean?
Well, hold
if
on.
Trump pull out
It's
a
funny you
third,
say that. If
oh
you really want to
man,
see where the id of the right wing is, let him run independent and see how many people say, I'm not voting Republican anymore, I'm voting independent Trump. And then you get a sense of who. Okay, here's my thing. I think that there's roughly 20% of the Republican voting bloc that is like straight up MAGA America, right?
Yeah, his base.
You
And
say
so what
20%?
happened? Yeah.
You don't think
Now,
it's a little bit more than that? You wouldn't say
I
no,
like
think
I
it's
don't.
25-30. I think it's 25-30.
I would say about
I
35.
think it's actually 20. I think there's a gradation, like there's a grade slope after that 20%, but I think it's the 20% that's like straight up MAGA fucking fourth degree hungry hippos type bullshit, right? Now that would probably carry him through the primaries, but especially now that he has a record that can be run against, I don't think he carries the same weight that he did in 2016 and to an extent 2020.
What
I
if it's
think
a
that there's
moderate
too much
Republican like a
baggage.
Romney running as the Republican candidate with Trump?
That running
He gonna
as
get
a
smoked.
independent or running as a Republican. I don't
With
think
Romney
Romney.
running as a Republican,
Republicans
Trump as
hate
an
No, I don't.
independent, and
Yeah,
anybody as the Democrat.
he's turned tail so many times.
They hate
He's
him,
not
though.
reliable as a Republican in terms of Republican ideas. That's why I'm
Right.
saying DeSantis. I think DeSantis
DeSantis will never
is a
run against
strong.
Trump. Like it'll never happen.
Yeah, well, the idea is that Trump doesn't run. The idea is that DeSantis runs. DeSantis is Trump without the trappings. He is Trump without the crazy fucking words coming out of the mouth onto tweets and shit.
Yeah, for sure.
And so as
Same
long
ideology
as
though.
the scientist doesn't spend time dissing Trump, as long as he doesn't use any language just like fuck Trump or whatever, I think he gets enough of the in the Trump atmosphere people that he can carry the party through. And
I haven't. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And if you consider the fact that there's setup behind it. If there is a red wave this election coming up, in terms of congressional elections, and they do decent work, guess what? DeSantis is going to ride that wave, and then we're going to have a Republican supermajority with people that are actually going to try and get things done. And that's why I think the Roe v. Wade decision is huge, whether it's good or bad. I'm not going to say in this regard whether it's good or bad, but the fact that we had a Republican president and a Republican Senate that confirmed 3 justices that made conservative rulings, meaning we're entering an era where there are Republicans that are willing to actually do something. If they take that a little further and say, okay, well, if we're going to have the House and the Senate, we need to actually do something, then there are people that might support those ideas that are going to be more likely A, to vote, and B, vote Republican.
But what
And I think
ideas do you
that's where you're going
think?
to see the paradigm shift. And that'll have a bleed-on effect with Democrats too, by the way. I think it's possible that if that goes, this time it'll go with Republicans that might carry it over for another election. And maybe Democrats realize, well, we need to vote for Democrats that are going to actually do stuff. So you don't have a case like you had when Obama was elected and he had a supermajority in both houses and then didn't pass any pro-Democrat legislation other than ramming Obamacare through. Because that was the biggest complaint.
They're super chicken shit. I should have done so much.
Like, okay, if you were going to make the argument for the best time to pass sweeping gun control measures, I guarantee you 2009 and 2010 were the years to do it. And they didn't even touch it. And then they
Democrats
blamed
can't do it though.
What's up?
Even
What's
then,
up,
they
B
couldn't
more?
do it. And the reason why they couldn't do it in that particular moment is actually for a little different reason than what most people consider. You have to leverage these wedge issues indefinitely. And what I mean by that is Democrats cannot afford to give Democrats what they want. Because as soon as you do that, then you have nothing to fearmonger, nothing to leverage in order to guilt them to vote for you consecutively.
But what they gained,
But they never came through on anything they were
trusting
promised.
the voters that they'll actually get things done. And I think that that's a much more powerful motivator in their favor.
When was the last time Congress did anything for the people, bro?
Yeah,
all
that's
fearmongering
the
does
point,
is
right?
drive the other side.
Well, we just had the first meaningful gun legislation, bipartisan gun legislation passed in the first.
I'm talking about things that affect working class families.
It's not necessarily meaningful at all. I don't know why you would think it's meaningful.
It's meaningful that something was done.
Yeah, just that something got passed. I think that people are just looking at it as a W.
So just because something was accomplished doesn't mean it's a net positive. The net negative would be the Supreme Court ruling, right, which has far more sweeping ramifications.
Yeah, they're already putting out memos in California like as we speak.
Let me be more specific though, right? This specific legislation that passed the Senate right, in the House, right? It doesn't enact red flag laws. It just gives funding to those who already have them. It gives money to the 988 system, which is similar to 911, but instead of 911, it's for emergencies. It's for like mental health concerns. But I don't even consider it a proper gun legislation bill. Like a 21-year-old, if you're 21-year-old, if you're 21 years of age. All that happens now in the NICS system, that's the National Background Check System ran by the FBI. All you have to do is comb over your juvenile records, which is going to disproportionately affect minorities. Who cares? When I mean by who cares, Democrats don't give a shit about racist policy, especially when it pushes their will. This bill is really not that significant. What is significant is what Clarence Thomas declared both yesterday and what Alito declared today.
We're on a mission now. But, like that meme of Clarence Thomas with the white eyes that couldn't be more true.
Speaking as one of the tribe, I think Clarence Thomas was in the wrong for his concurrent opinion today.
Okay.
And he stood by himself when he said it. The other three justices, the other four justices were very clear. Yeah, that's not that they didn't take him to the woodshed over it, but they basically said, yeah, Clarence Thomas's opinion is, while he is in concurrence, the rest of his opinion is not approved by us. The other justices made very clear that Oberfels and those other decisions weren't supposed to be touched, and that nothing from this ruling should be used in any case involving Oberfels or Gambler, etc.
Well, what I will say is that what he said is not law of the land, right? The opinion that is law of the land isn't a concurrence. It's the original opinion.
Overturning.
Yeah. So what Alito said is the law of the land. So whatever. So Thomas concurring.
Talking about the difference of there's the opinion, which is the summation of the outcome. The concurrence is the individual statements by the justices who voted for that resolution.
Yes. And you can combat their concurrence, but the ruling, right? Alito wrote that. But what I really want to bring up is, did you read yesterday's decision?
Regarding the New York concealed weapon law?
Yes.
I have not had a chance to read that.
Yeah, they can't.
I was going to read it today.
They can't permit based on at need any longer. So California.
I wanted to bring it up and relate it to what you're saying now about the abortion bill, because I'm not trying to take away from the fact that I guess you want to talk about the abortion ruling, and why not? But what I want to say is that the three liberal judges, right, have an issue of not addressing the question at hand. And if you read both of their dissents, they struggle. They really do struggle to stay hyper focused, and they bring up aspects that they believe is in the best interest of the state, but they're just not acknowledging the Constitution.
Well,
I don't think that these liberal
that
judges should be taken seriously at this very moment
I don't know
because
if
their
you're listening to
dissents
the
are
stream
terrible.
earlier. I made that argument that not one of the liberal justices made a constitutional argument for Roe v. Wade. They made legislative arguments, and the SCOTUS is not a legislative body.
And they did it twice in a row. In my opinion, this demonstrates that the liberal judges are terrible. And I am a registered Democrat. I voted for Obama. I didn't vote for Trump or Biden. Fuck both of them.
I voted for Obama too.
Like I'm fairly socialistic on many concepts, but unfortunately, to those that I consider on the fake left, I do believe that you can be a leftist and be a constitutional originalist. You can do both.
That would make you a liberal, not a leftist.
Not
and I think there should be a distinction.
Let me tell you why not.
Liberal.
No, I think that if you want to push for the decommodification of money markets, right, and you acknowledge that capitalism needs to be stifled at all costs, you can be a leftist. You can acknowledge the Constitution, and then if you want to call it liberal, I'm not going to necessarily be against it. But here's the problem: liberals hate me because I'm not a capitalist.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Is that they don't jive, right?
All that shit is bullshit. I don't like.
And I don't want to make this too personal, right? And I mean, unless you want to.
Is you American or not?
Yeah, let's fucking break down B more tonight. Let's do it.
I'm willing to explain my opinions, like personal opinions on who I am and what I believe, but I'm just talking about these rulings, right? And when it comes to these rulings, they are correct. Let me just put it out there. Yeah. Abortion is not a solidified it's not an implied right. So
it should be a woman's choice though. That's crazy to say.
But
but
a woman should be able to decide if she wants to have a baby or not.
Yeah, here's the problem though: is you're not answering the fundamental question that was asked to the Supreme Court, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to ask,
there's a specific case that brought this to the Supreme Court, right?
My personal position on abortion is that it is a woman's choice. And that it should be solidified as a right. But here's the problem, though. This goes into the first thing I said today. Why isn't abortion a right? Abortion is not a right because Democrats are so damn lazy. We've had a Roe v. Wade for over 40 years, which literally deemed that abortion is a right through an implication. And you can't make an implication on an implication. You can't imply a right on an implied right. And that was determined today, right? What Democrats should have done within those 40 years was solidify it through federal legislation.
Do something.
And since they didn't do that, since they didn't do that, now women lose the right. A right that they never had.
They left the door open for just this particular moment, right? Just assuming that it would ride.
Why are Democrats at fault for today, right? Because Republicans have been very clear what they were going to do. Republicans for over 40 years said one thing and one thing only. We're going to get rid of Roe v. Wade and we're going to allow the states to legislate abortion. They've been saying it for 40 years straight. And then what Democrats did for those 40 years? Said, well,
they were saving it for this election, bro.
yeah. I mean, yeah.
They're gonna say, oh, we're gonna create legislation to make abortion a right.
He already said it. After the midterms, we're gonna do it. So make sure to vote us in. So
and I still wouldn't trust them motherfuckers.
Okay, well, look.
Let me tell you guys icing on the cake, right? Clarence Thomas legit said gay rights are on the table now, right?
Well, he said all substantive due rights claims are on the table, which
reparations.
Yeah, I want to be specific because not everybody understands constitutional law, so that's why I'm trying to be hyper specific. But so I'm going to say it again. Clarence Thomas legit warned everybody that gay rights are next.
I don't know so much gay rights, but the government being involved in defining what a marriage is. You know what I mean? I think that's on the table.
Not necessarily. No. What he means by that is he wants to enable states to restrict gay marriage. Let me just be blunt. That is what I mean by Clarence Thomas said they're coming after gay marriage next. And the significance of me saying this is, will Democrats respond now or wait for it to happen?
Well, they're going to wait for it to happen, for sure.
Okay, and at that point, I'm going to say it again. It's Democrats' fault if they wait that long. I'm going to put it on the record right now.
I don't think Democrats give a fuck.
Also, thanks for leaving the door open. I'll say that on this one and the 2A one yesterday. Like
Democrats only care about gay people because they need their vote.
That's it.
They only care about black people because they need their vote. They only care about Democrats and Republicans. To me,
when Obama was in office, this is why I always tell Republicans.
Republicans are some of the dumbest motherfuckers in the world because they just got to do two damn things, and Democrats will never win an election for the rest of their lives. And that is step one: support reparations. They're going to get 13% more voters instantly. Step number two: legalize marijuana. That would lead to anywhere between 3 to 7% more voters. Period.
I bet you next time the Republicans have
Democrat
both.
light. And why would you vote for Democrat light when you can get
Democrat
full flavor
light,
Democrat?
right? Here's the beauty of it. If you believe that marijuana and reparations is like the core principles of Democrats, then you're hilarious.
That's the beauty of it, though. Be more is that this last bill that was sponsored in the House for marijuana was brought to the table by Republicans. Like, if we have a majority in the House and the Senate this time coming up,
so
weed is going to get
niggas like Lindsey Graham talk about marijuana. They can't make enough money off of it.
Through the CCC, that's the CCC is the Congressional Cannabis Caucus. It's 2 Democrats, 2 Republicans. They've tried to legalize weed twice, and that's a bipartisan agreement. Then after that, Matt Gaetz out of Florida, among other Republicans, tried to legalize weed twice, 4 total proposals. And the reason why Democrats refused to act is because Democrats said either we legalize weed by releasing everybody who's been prosecuted for weed, and we turn marijuana into a massive reparation bill, and we give the money into gun prevention programs, and AKA the MORE Act. Unless we do it that way, we're not going to allow anybody to do it any other way. And basically, at that point,
if you're not going to pass a clean bill, don't pass it. Yeah.
No. Democrats said unless you're going to no, they're saying the opposite. The Democrats are saying either you pass a pork-filled dream, like pipe dream bill to legalize weed, or we're going to hold weed ransom forever.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And Democrats are shit. They're shit. And here's the beauty.
This Roe versus Wade could have been easily avoided at any point. How many times did the Democrats have the House and the Senate over the last 50 years?
Bro, they don't need both. They don't need the House and the Senate to pass laws. They
need 60 votes in the Senate now, right? Without the filibuster.
What I mean by that is they literally passed gun legislation with Republican support because the gun legislation is toothless, right?
Yeah,
but
right.
some might argue that it's still incrementalism, right? Why can't they do the same thing for weed? Why don't they just simply reschedule marijuana?
Because pharmaceutical companies up their ass.
That's part of why individual states are.
The biggest hurdle is the prison system and the people that we have locked up for strictly marijuana charges. Like they don't know how to do that.
No, it's because Democrats are for all or nothing legislation. You either give a Democrat everything they want, or they're really not motivated.
That's fair. To an extent, that's fair.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that.
They're really not motivated, and it's a beauty because the lack of motivation comes from the fact that, well, we tried, and then the beauty of saying that we tried is then you get to go back to the voting base and scream at them. We need more representatives inside of the House of Representatives. We need more senators. We tried to do this, but they didn't let us do it. And then you look at the bill.
While the Republicans are doing it, right?
It doesn't take 80 pages to legalize weed, bro. I can legalize weed in 4 pages. First page, cover page. Second page, weed is legalized. Third page, I'm gonna throw a couple emojis on it. Fourth page, my signature. We're done, baby. We did it.
That'd be bullshit.
I still don't think, even if
I showed you how to do it.
Even if Republicans sponsor reparations, do you think that the black demographic would be willing to vote Republican? Period.
Man, you motherfucking right.
You fucking right, bro.
I don't think so.
You motherfucking right.
Yeah,
you mean to tell me? You mean all right? You gotta think about how much money we talking. We need to adjust this amount. Not only for the 200 years that we experienced, but it's interest on that because of the oppression and how long it took for us to receive all this.
Hold on,
it's gonna be some bread, brother.
I'm talking about $2,000. Everybody gets $2,000. Would you be down?
$2,000, my dick.
See, that's what I'm saying.
We need a couple M's. We need a couple million. How much is a house in this country? You know what I'm saying? We need
bro, $2,000 that won't even make me pop a boner, bro. What the fuck? You gotta work. I need a little more.
No,
I need more. But what I will say is, how badly do Republicans want a landslide where they can pass anything they want for 4 years? How badly?
But they only get it once.
We're getting a landslide either way.
Are done. Like. What are they going to vote for?
I think a landslide. What? Republicans will never see 60 Republicans in the Senate under no circumstance. Now
I disagree.
No, I do. I know it's a fact, and then we can
I
bet
think
on
we're
it.
about to get 40 seats in the fucking House and
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
8
but
seats in the
what
Senate.
I will say is Republicans can definitely get 55, 56 in the Senate, and
Oh yeah.
at that point, yes, Sinema and Manchin, and then maybe work a little bit of magic, and you can, and the Republicans can get some shit done, right? Also, that's pretty much what it is. That's pretty much what
What
it
if
is.
Biden gets rid of the filibuster in the next 2 years?
Then here's the beauty of getting rid of the filibuster. Why is getting rid of the filibuster a bad idea? Because when
It's
Republicans
a
take
great
office,
idea. No, we're
yeah,
cool.
yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
cool.
Shut up, because you know what I'm about to say.
Uh-huh.
Because Democrats get full reign for 2 years, while Republicans get full reign for 4. So getting rid of the filibuster might be a net positive for Republicans. But what's the beauty of Republicans not doing it? Because they can get rid of the filibuster later.
What's up? What's up, Sammy? Appreciate you for stopping by.
Bruh, the Democrats are hilarious. We got to get rid of the filibuster. Okay, do it and see what happens. God
I can't
forbid.
stay for very long because my boyfriend says I'm supposed to go to bed. Now he's tickling my foot. Please stop.
Okay,
But
that's
I
interesting.
just wanted to say, in regards to abortion, can we all
She
agree that
said,
torture is
okay.
worse than murder?
Torture is worse than murder?
Yes.
Depends
No,
on what you
we
torturing
can't
them
just,
for.
it
Sometimes
depends. No,
motherfuckers need to go slow.
sometimes
Okay,
Sometimes.
but
torture,
can we
people use
agree that
torture as a
torturing
form
a
of
baby
murder.
is worse than murdering a baby? Yes.
No, not
No,
necessarily.
not I could think of scenarios where it wouldn't be better,
Yeah,
of course.
the life is still there,
Yeah.
and they can recuperate through counseling. And
Nah. That's a crazy question. How you gonna? Nah, that's too much trauma
The
for a
point
child
is,
to process, bro.
why would you
necessarily,
bring
it
a
depends
life
on how
into
much
the
torture,
world
and it
just
depends on
for
how
it
you
to
murdered them.
suffer?
Hold on, what you say,
Gonna go
Sam?
to
You
bed,
bring a
guys.
life in the world
Later's.
knowing
All
that
right,
it
D.
will suffer.
I'm
Isn't that
sorry, Sam.
considered torture?
All right,
I'm
all
sorry,
right.
Sam. Can you say that again? Because I didn't hear you, and I want to hear you.
What you say, Sammy?
I'm just saying, if you bring a life into the world knowing that it will suffer, isn't that bringing intentional harm to that life?
How you know it's gonna suffer?
Okay,
Everybody suffers.
Sammy,
Well,
Sammy,
if
Sammy,
someone's
you're just
even
being.
considering
Are you
abortion
just?
in the first place, do you think they're fit to be a parent?
If you're not fit to be a parent, why are you having sex?
Okay,
Why did you get raped then?
Oh,
so
I wasn't thinking about that. I'm sorry. Oh, whoa,
so
whoa,
here's the
whoa.
beauty of it, right?
Left turn like a motherfucker. My
The
bad.
majority of the trigger laws and the majority of the abortion bans
Yeah, they still have
allow
trade-offs.
people to get abortions if rape's involved. But even though I say this, I am a supporter of abortions, period. Right?
I'm
But
an
that has
advocate
nothing
for
to do with the
it.
fact that it's not a constitutional right.
Well, we should change that. I think our next chapter in this, for all the women out there, the next thing we should do is to go change that. We need to get
That's
with
the point.
Democrats.
So
It's
what's
it's
that?
like
We're
it's two completely
gonna
different arguments, right? One is the constitutionality and a legal argument, and one is moral, so to say. Like,
So
is it
I will
okay
say,
to abort, and is it legal to abort? Those are two
Hey,
different arguments.
what's the
I
name
think
of
you
the
okay,
person that had
So,
left?
from my perspective,
NDD.
I
I think.
have
Okay, for
endometriosis,
sure.
and I'm worried that I may have a medical complication where I do want to have a child, but if I have a medical complication that makes it too dangerous to do so somewhere along the line, then abortion theoretically would be my only option to survive.
And there
And
would be a
although I
carve
would
out
not
for
want
that
to abort, that would be
Yeah,
my only
no,
option.
in
But
but
if
most
that
they'll
of
give you
option
these
were
abortion for
made
that, right?
illegal,
in most of the trigger laws that go into effect effectively now, right? Because Roe vs. Wade is fucking repealed.
so
There are
the reason
carve
why
outs for that.
not necessarily, right? The
Well, that's why I
discretion.
say most.
No, no,
I
no.
think it was like 14
I'm,
out
I'm,
of the
I'm saying
26 states.
I'm saying in most cases, not necessarily. I'm telling you that in the majority of cases, the level of discretion, right? The discretion's on the doctor, and
Right.
then
Yeah. It has in
and
like
then
a hospital setting instead of
and
an
then the
abortion
problem
clinic
is,
setting.
there's already been some studies on this. In restrictive regimes, doctors are very scared to allow an abortion because the attorney generals, for example, in Tennessee, Mississippi, I forgot the most recent one. I think is Arkansas. They are looking to prosecute doctors for abortions. They
Yeah.
are
Right.
actively seeking,
Yeah.
right? So when the
Texas. Yeah.
doctors are so scared of possibly allowing someone who has endometriosis, which is absolutely painful and excruciating, a cyst on I think on ovaries and things like that, and the possibility of complications is great. but they still deserve the right to have a child, and they also deserve, in my opinion, the ability to terminate under many circumstances. I don't believe that a woman has to be at risk of dying in order to abort. What if it's causing absolute disgusting, excruciating pain? There's women with endometriosis, when they get pregnant, they get put on bed rest, right? And sometimes hospitalized for large segments of their pregnancies. You know how long it takes? You know how much money it costs to take up a medical bed for 3 months, right?
Yeah,
took a
but
medical
I'm
bed
talking
for
about the
one
trigger
night
laws
because I
that are
had
not in those states. Like the trigger laws have carve outs for rape, for
okay.
incest, for mother's
For
health, and
context,
sometimes even for
for like
child's
the
health,
cost
right?
of a medical bed.
I said it once and I'll say it again. The carve outs are ineffective due to the fact that doctors are extremely scared of losing their license and being prosecuted. The level of discretion that doctors must show is so great that if a woman literally needs to be fucking dying, like dying, for them to give the okay to risk their license to kill a baby, because that is what is considered within those
But I
regimes.
think a doctor's
So
word is more so than a judge. So if a judge be like, if a
no,
doctor said, "Yo, look, we had to do this procedure because her life was on the line," you know what I'm saying? A judge ain't gonna be like,
no,
"Well, who are," you know what I'm saying? That wouldn't make
no.
sense.
No, because another doctor on the other side who's gonna be an MD.
Oh,
That's gonna
okay,
be an
that's how they do it.
MDJD, and an
That's how they
MDJD
do
will
it.
be a medical doctor slash attorney paid for by the Catholic Church, so on, getting ready to get rid of these doctors.
No, I hear you. That's what I told the goon at the beginning. Like it's not stopping here. Like we're also going after blue states. You know what I mean? I don't even see it so much as a states' right argument. Like,
Yeah, the best hope for that is like
what
legislation,
do you mean by
like
that?
constitutional legislation.
I think
Abortion is a
religious
state right.
people. I think religious people in the United States feel like they were born for this moment.
Can I just say something real quick? I
Get
was
put.
once hospitalized overnight
Yeah.
at a hospital in California for strep throat that was so bad that I was coughing up blood and could not breathe. And the cost of the one night, had it not been covered by insurance, would have cost my entire college fund.
Yep. Seriously, one broken bone is over $7,000, and like a broken arm. So costs are excessive.
Don't need an ambulance ride over there. That's gonna
But
cost
the
too.
point is that people against abortion don't care, right? If you have to go into $50 million into debt, right? Because you're put on bed rest, because endometriosis is so crippling you can't walk, and you need constant medical attention, right? They would rather you go 50 million in debt than abort that kid.
That's crazy.
Because the
Honestly,
life
I
is
feel
more
like
important than your finance. And I don't agree with this, right? I don't agree with this, but I'm just making sure people understand anti-abortion individuals, they're going to say things like, well, there's carve-outs. Guess what happens when a woman has to be like a rape has to occur for a woman to get an abortion? Guess what happens to men, right? Women will fall. Like, I'm not saying this is going to be popular, but this is going to occur in some circumstances. Men are going to be falsely accused of rape because a woman desperately needs an abortion. Congratulations, right? Congratulations, man. You played yourself. I'm
Man,
against all
I don't think that's likely. I think
it
more
is
likely
No,
like
it's
dudes gonna be
definitely going to
raising
happen, and it's definitely
dudes
going
gonna
to
be
be
raising
it's
be
kids.
definitely gonna
outlawed
happen.
on
okay,
that
but
sense, just like the red flag laws.
who
Like
The
that
only
they
begs
thing
the
make
I
it.
only,
question. That begs the question. What if a politician was accused of the rape, and that politician happened to be the one
They'd
who
send them to
supported
Chicago.
these anti-abortion laws?
politicians get
They
accused
got
of rape
money to
all the
send them
fucking
to wherever the fuck they need to get their abortions.
Trump did 4 years as president and he was accused of raping women. Like, come
Trump
on now,
was
they don't give a
accused,
fuck.
Kavanaugh was accused, Clarence Thomas
Everybody's
was
accused.
accused,
Like women
Anthony
come out
Everybody's
against you.
Weiner
These
had
accused.
are
some
powerful people. No, they
allegations.
don't give a fuck.
Matt Gates is going through it, and guess what? They
Being
all
accused of
mostly do.
sexual impropriety is a rite of passage in
They
politics.
literally beat the case because like.
I literally think actually doing that shit is a rite of passage for them
But no,
sick
I
motherfuckers.
need to address something. Knowledge. I'm telling you straight up, and Blizzard like chime
What'd you
in. Like,
say, Fat
yes,
Ghost? You
if you
said
tell
I
women
feel if we make
one of the only
abortions
ways you can get an
illegal,
abortion, make
it
sure I'm not
should
saying the only way.
make
One of the only ways to get an abortion
if
is to say you were raped,
men
right?
want the
Imagine a
child,
woman has a one night stand with
they
a guy and she
should be
doesn't know who he is.
able
She could just say she was raped,
to
right? What if a woman is
output
knows of her
child
medical
support.
complications and how severe the pain
Yeah,
is going to
no,
be?
I agree with
Endometriosis
you.
is a level of pain in
I
some
agree with you, Fat
circumstances
Ghost.
that's worse than getting shot.
It's that
So she might just falsely accuse
it's that
somebody.
follow though, Fat
Why
Ghost.
wouldn't she?
hit
The
that
level of
follow
pain
for
is
me,
something you
please.
can't comprehend unless you took a
And
9 to the
if
chest.
you
Man, what men need to be more
Like,
concerned about
want
is
to
raising kids that's
also,
not theirs. Because
No, it's
women
going to be
can have a
real
one night
interesting the way
stand, get
that does
pregnant, and
play
come
out
back to
because
your goofy ass and be like, "Oh, you the daddy." You know what I'm saying?
please hit that follow, Fat Ghost. Please hit that follow. And also, if you could, please join the Discord if you like these type of conversations, bro. Please hit that follow.
Even if it is proven by DNA evidence that you are not the father, you can still be held financially responsible.
well, women can't get abortions, so deal with it.
Nah, we gonna have to. We gotta take that one to
Another
court.
thing I was thinking of,
We're not going to take it to court. It's already been to court.
for
It's called
someone
assumed
who
fatherhood, and it's a thing in California and many other states.
Well, I'm in Texas and I got 3 kids. I know how that shit go. I ain't worried about that part. You know what I'm saying?
I
I
was
know how
gonna
that shit go.
say, say for example, someone is just not financially ready or not emotionally ready for a child. For
Okay.
example, they don't feel responsible enough or they don't have the funding to actually take care of a child. What if they just left the child on the politician's doorstep?
You can leave it at a fireplace, but
Okay, yeah,
yeah, at a fire
because they
Well,
got
no,
department.
those
but if the
fire departments
Okay,
politician
that got
feels
those
before
physically
it
things.
gets to that
responsible,
point, though, ask yourself this: if you know that you are not in that capacity to have a kid emotionally,
Yeah.
financially, but you also know that committing a certain act has the potential to create the situation. In fact, that's the biological norm. Would it not be prudent individually to make the choice to maybe not engage in that behavior so much? Because
That
there
doesn't
is
sound like
work.
a
some
poor.
risk.
That's a poor problem. It's essentially a poor. They know poor people have the most kids. They know the poor people out here fucking like
no,
motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Like it
logically
doesn't
it makes sense, Captain, but
it doesn't work in practice. Like you can
yeah,
say it
it,
on the
it
one
just doesn't
statement
happen.
of this, like don't fuck, don't have sex, don't
Yeah,
have
just
sex,
don't fuck.
don't have
Like
sex. Period,
we
don't
But
all
get
they know. But
shot.
they know poor people
Don't be
make
pressured.
irresponsible decisions
So,
like
But
that.
that's
So
the
they
thing.
know it's
have you
only going to affect
considered
poor
Women are
people.
why that
required to
is?
put out. That's
no,
the
the
thing. It's
problem
not
is
like
that
you
Okay,
tell them.
okay.
the point is that historically preaching abstinence has never worked. So what you're doing now is, well, not acknowledging the fact that it's never worked, and then continuously just advocating for it once again. At what point in time do we acknowledge that your rhetoric is ineffective? It's not persuasive and it hasn't worked in history. Why is it going to work
Can we
tomorrow?
just can we just analyze the correlation between sexual activity and economic status? Because like the poorer you are, the more miserable you're gonna be. And
That's not
So,
sex
but
true.
is a
like,
great dopamine
man,
releaser.
it's
It's
such
true.
a wishy-washy argument because what if you're taking care of your elderly grandparents? What if you have 90-year-old grandparents that you're taking care of? Like financial burden. Whoa, I don't know if I could do this. You know, they're on oxygen already. Why don't we just off them? You know what I mean? It just when taken to the extreme, it just doesn't make sense to me.
What do you mean? Physician-assisted suicide's a thing, and you also have no legal requirement to take care of your parents.
No, I
That
understand that.
and like
I'm
in the case of my grandmother who passed away last year, I honestly wish she had had the option of assisted suicide because the alternative was that she died slowly of not going to dialysis.
well, I mean,
Assisted suicide is
everybody has their
allowed
own
in
story.
assisted suicide's allowed in like at least like 5 states, and
She
Assisted
including
was
my
in
suicide
home,
is
Georgia at the
also
Florida.
time.
something that is decided by the person.
Yeah,
The
that
baby
person
is
gets
not
that right.
deciding to be terminated as it
Okay,
relates
guys,
to that
as much as I
suicide.
would like to
A
say,
fetus doesn't have consciousness. It is
I do
enabled.
have to go to bed. It is
Consent
like
doesn't
2
exist.
in the
There's
morning.
no yes or no.
All right, Sammy. I
There's no
appreciate
brain
you for
development
stopping
yet.
by.
But
No problem. Good night.
All right, for
see,
sure.
All right, peace.
but good news is that abortion will still be allowed in the majority of states. Like in those who are
Yeah, you might
anti-abortion,
have to take Shorty to Arkansas, but it's all good.
maybe
What's
No
up?
right.
What's
problem.
up, Fat
And the beauty of
Ghost?
it is this is a cultural battle and it's a losing battle, right?
You can have sex. You use a condom.
Point point blank, we'll lose in history. Like in time, we'll lose.
Fat
And
Ghost.
what's going
If you
what's going to
can,
happen is America will
please
align
hit that
with
follow. Please hit that follow,
and the
bro.
majority of U.S. states, right? Anti-abortionists are not going to be able to ban abortion in New York, California, right?
I
In the majority of states, or the states with the majority of populations. They won't win. Like the reason why they won't win is because it's just not factually sound, and the majority of the developed world allows it. So, and not only that, the majority of states allow it. It's just a handful of states that are going to say no. So, no, we're not going to go back in time on this one. People who want it to be the case might be optimistic and say that's the case, but we're not going back in time. Abortion
I
will only
think
become more legal in the distant long term.
it's not really about the terminology used, anti-abortion. It's more like pro-choice, like the right to choose if you want to have a baby. I think that'll get passed as on a constitutional level sometime in the future, especially if the Democrats need a motherfucking win. You know what I'm saying? They'll really push
exactly
off
what I
that.
said. I said that anti-abortionists will not win in the long term. What that means is pro-choice people will win in the long term. That's
I've been
exactly
hearing
what I
people
said.
group them together. Like people group when they talk, they speak pro-choice and anti-abortion as the same thing. You know what
Why
I'm
would I
saying?
say that?
No,
Pro-choice
no,
means you're allowed to.
not you. I'm just saying people tend to put them two together for some reason when
Yeah,
they
but it
have.
doesn't make sense when you're talking to people who know what they're talking about. Because pro-choice means you support abortion. Anti-abortionist is you're anti-abortion. You're against abortion.
You get
That's
all
it.
the way. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Some people be having to fucking put the shit.
I generally tend to agree, and I think that that's probably the happy medium is like the majority of Europe, 12 weeks, and then fucking we're done. You know what I mean? This conversation's over.
Is it 12 weeks in the majority of Europe? I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I would. But the beauty of that is that's still gonna piss off anti-abortionists for two reasons, right? Is because if you make it so that abortions can't be done after 12 weeks, there's still a possibility, right? Depending on who's the AG, that states will be able to do later term abortions. Because, like, for example,
Yeah, like Virginia.
no, because for example, Merrick Garland isn't going to prosecute you right now for a late term abortion if the law was abortions can only be done up until the 12th week, right? So anytime a Democrat's in office, late term abortions would be effectively legal, similar to how marijuana is effectively legal, as in the federal government doesn't choose to prosecute marijuana, even though they could, based on the Controlled Substance Act, right? So it would just be a discretionary decision. And
Hey,
I'm okay
bro,
with that.
what do they consider long-term abortion? Like second trimester type shit?
Late term
Yeah,
abortion
anytime
is
after
like
the
mid
first term is no
Oh,
good
okay.
as
Oh,
far as the majority of the civilized world.
okay. Well, that should be the law. Like anything after that is, yeah, that should be the law, in my opinion.
Yeah,
And
I
how is that?
think
And
that
how is that not a constitutional right though? That's crazy. I was
it's
just
not a
thinking about that
I
earlier.
can show you why it's not a constitutional right. Right
Yep.
now, go on Google and type in United States Constitution, right? Read it, and then tell me where you see abortion.
You know what I'm saying? Like all the
Or
women rights,
reference to it in any way.
all the civil rights. You know what I'm saying? I'm surprised nobody thought about that. And like you said, how long they had? 40 years, and they still
Yeah,
Everybody thought of it.
That's
Nobody did
crazy.
anything. That's
no,
that's the whole
no.
point.
What's
I
up,
Here's
I
the
wouldn't think
Bisky?
about that shit. I
but
thought that shit
Appreciate
was
you
knowledge.
already
Here's the
right.
misconception, though,
Appreciate
right?
you for
You
stopping
don't
by,
have to put
Bisky.
abortion in the Constitution to make it a right.
What
You
state
can
are
do
you
it through
from?
federal law.
Then that's not a
And
It's
right.
legislation,
No,
period, right?
where do you
no, you can
lean
solidify a right
politically?
through
Do you
a law.
lean more
You can
right,
do it.
more left?
But to solidify it as a constitutional right is what people will want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You could
yeah,
make a law saying
that's right.
slavery is illegal, but it's a constitutional right. That means it
Yeah,
has a lot of weight behind it.
I'm gonna tell people straight up, abortion will never be in the fucking time. Nobody on this earth who's alive will see abortion in the Constitution.
Yeah.
Or the right to choose. They're gonna put the term. They're gonna change the terminology, but I think
It's
the
not
right to
going to.
Well,
choose.
it doesn't matter what the
not going to.
terminology is. It's
like
going to be hard to make an argument to put something in the Constitution that, or however you want to phrase it, basically boils down to ending a life.
Yeah,
Arbitrarily ending a life. I don't
I
think
mean,
you're going to
just the
see that in the
process of
Constitution.
amending the Constitution
Thank
is
you, Blizzard. That's the
basically
point.
impossible.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with ending a life. This
Well,
emotional
no, but
appeal.
that's what I'm saying.
No,
Like you'll
it's
never
that
get the majority to do that because they'd have to be able to make that argument, and they can, and you can't make that argument realistically. So you'd be really hard pressed to get the 2/3 majority you need, 2/3 states majority you
no.
need
The argument's
in order
easy.
to
The
pass it.
argument's easy enough to make through our legislature, right? It's easy.
If it was, it would have been done already.
No,
Nah,
it
it
wouldn't.
just
No, we already
nobody
addressed.
just did it.
We already addressed why it hasn't been done. It
Nobody
hasn't been done
did it.
because Democrats enjoy
Asshole.
keeping this as a wedge issue.
Yeah,
That's why it hasn't
policy
been
and
done.
popular support for ideas doesn't basically ever go hand in hand.
Thank
Oh
you.
shit.
It's
Like
yeah,
otherwise, we'd already have universal health care. We'd
we would
probably already have UBI, right?
we already have marijuana legalized with the 67% of Americans who
Yeah,
support it.
yeah,
We would have had it in the
like super
Constitution.
majority.
The 67% is greater than 2/3. Marijuana would be in the Constitution. No, it doesn't work that way. But what I will say is, on an interesting note, is that many states have put marijuana in their state constitutions. Isn't that funny?
Wait,
That's
say
how it
again.
works.
It's not as hard.
Many states have put marijuana in their state constitutions.
Nice.
And they did it via ballot initiatives because the legislature refused to do it. That happened in Arizona, for example, right?
And we
Arizona,
need to
the
get that shit
government
going.
refused to legalize weed, so they put it on the ballot.
Even we can go back in history, like Indiana's first original state constitution outlawed slavery forever. Like,
interesting.
this has been the way things have been forever.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the discretionary enforcement, though. I think we should either audit the books or force enforcement.
Audit what? What are you looking for in this audit?
If there is discretion, it should be refined, I guess. Like, just like, if it's a federal law, it should be enforced, or it should be stricken from the books.
The reason why, I mean, you're right, but I like the fact that states don't abide by certain federal laws. I'm gonna just be honest with you. You know what I mean? Like, I like the fact that states can do their own thing with marijuana. So you're right that ideally it would be legalized, right? But Republicans are being little bitches, so it's like this is still the best way to go about it for now.
Yeah, I could agree with that. The Republican Senate is always going to have a pushback on marijuana, no
And
matter.
to be clear, I don't know if you guys seen the RNC meeting that or convention that happened in Texas. It's funny because a few of the Republican senators got booed because of the most recent gun control measures.
Like an
But
Alex Stein 99.
Not as bad
they
as Pete Buttigieg
specifically
got booed at the
stated
rally.
that they oppose legalizing marijuana. That is on the record, and
Yeah.
that is the official Republican stance for the coming election.
And they still gonna win.
Maybe.
That's gangster.
But let me tell you where
That's
Democrats.
gangster.
So I just got done saying Republicans are dumb, right? So now let me tell you why Democrats are dumb, right? Because incrementalism is still important. So incrementalism is the process of achieving your goals through small steps. And Marco Rubio already said that he supports legalizing medical marijuana. He's a Republican senator. All you need is 9 more.
Yeah, and you can get 9.
You can
You
get
might
9.
not be able to get 60, but you can get 9.
You can get 9 more when it comes to strictly medical marijuana for, let's say, veterans, PTSD, severe what is it, MS,
Chronic
muscular
joint pain.
sclerosis,
Yeah.
endometriosis, so
Back
on.
pain, working 60 hours a week.
Let me
No,
get
no,
a
no,
little
no,
from
no,
a
no, no, no.
cataracts.
You're going too far.
My
You're
bad.
going too far. You're going too. Republicans might not go for that. But here's the thing, though, right? If Republicans will give them, if Republicans are willing to take a step in the right direction, then do it. But Democrats said no because Democrats are dumbasses.
They both the
Look,
same.
I mean,
shit, bro.
Biden promised to codify Roe when he was running, so I mean, there's still 2 more years here. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, he also promised to decriminalize weed. He promised to forgive some student loan debt. He promised
That's my point, though, is I keep wanting to mention the stuff that's never going to happen, just so people get it.
To me, it doesn't matter if it happens or not. I mean, no. That's a dumb statement. Let me be more clear here. Even if he did follow through with his promises, right? We should still. He's not, but even if he did, we should still give him shit for waiting so damn long. His approval ratings are at record lows right now. Go take a look. He's looking worse than Trump, and Trump lost, right? He's looking worse than losers. So Biden is destined to become a loser.
History's not going to look too fondly upon this.
He killed his legacy. His sleepy ass should have just fucking stood retired.
You say he's sleepy, yo.
He's a failed president. He's
all
a failed
Biden
father.
had to do was be the vase covering the dirt on the rug. That's all he had to do, and he couldn't do it.
He has 1 son alive, and the dude is a fucking cokehead. You know what I mean? Like, he's a failed ass father. He couldn't even raise his son. How the fuck can he raise America?
Well, I don't know.
I'm glad you're saying it, so I don't have to.
People can make individual choices, and his son made individual choices.
Listen,
I don't know.
I'm not hiding behind shit.
His daughter's not doing too hot either, so
If you
it
can't
makes
raise your own
there's
son, how you gonna fucking raise a nation? He's a failed father. Failed father, no legacy.
You're protected by that lefty shroud, though. Be more. I have to be more careful.
Whatever. I'm not one of those dumbass lefties.
You know
It's
what I
like,
mean, though. That
yeah, talking shit
there
about
is protective layer.
bro. Talking shit about Republicans is so lowbrow. You know, it's like talking
But
shit
it's so
about
popular.
look, talking
That's
shit about
funny, bro.
Republicans is like an episode of South Park, right? But talking shit about Democrats, that's an episode of Futurama.
Damn.
Classy.
I better get the tissue paper. This man's spitting facts.
Both are entertaining, right? But one is just drastically higher class.
I like slumming.
And y'all know which one. Y'all know which which cartoon's the better cartoon.
Voltron.
Sorry, South Park lovers. Sorry.
Wait. Between who? South Park and who?
Futurama.
Futurama.
South Park all the way.
Nah, South Park all day, bro. Ain't no way.
South Park all day, bro.
And I fuck
Y'all
with
already
Bob
know.
heavy.
Y'all already know that these two individuals, their political takes are to be taken. It's not a big deal. Y'all showed y'all ass, but we're grateful for it.
That shit go hard. I wish they still had that shit on. I'm high right now, bro. I want to watch South Park. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's my shit.
Bro, I'm getting right there with you. I just popped a bunch of Vicos from my back, so I'm hitting the Louis land.
I smoke weed from my back. I just got out of work not too long ago. I gotta smoke that weed from my back, bro.
You say you smoke weed for your back.
Yeah, for real.
Let me get a little for my cataracts.
I got a little brew tonight.
For my cataracts.
Smoking weed?
My cataracts.
I'm calling the cops right now. I'm calling Joe Biden right now.
Them niggas know I smoke.
Joe Biden knows you smoke?
The police
You're gonna call Biden
Joe
and you
Biden
have
don't
your
know much
translator.
these
That
days.
man talking
Bro,
about his
Joe Biden don't even know where he at.
For real.
Did you oh Blizz, I gotta
Did you see
send
his
you.
cue cards? Yeah.
Did you hear what he said about the gun ruling?
No, I just heard a statement on the abortion.
I'm gonna post it, but there's no point listening to it because he made no fucking sense.
Does he?
That's the problem. He's
You
declining.
see him on Jimmy Kimmel? That shit was. I felt bad for him.
And it's funny because the same people who talked about how terrible Trump's talking and conversational skills were are the same people that are holding up Joe Biden literally by strings like a puppet while he talks about his Ram mid-sentence and can't even stay on cue card.
So just for those who are not following this case, in this video, Joe Biden says that it doesn't affect he says the 40 states, right? This case only has anything to do with 7 states. That's it. So this number 40 that he says in this video, bro, the only 40 I know is Old English. I don't know what this motherfucker on. He must have been sipping.
Somebody forgot to give him his B12 injection.
This guy says 40 state. I don't know what 40 he's talking about. I don't see only 40 I see is in my fridge.
You might be looking too deep because the same people that were saying, we're trying to make references when Obama talked about the 52 states. I think it proves too much.
Obama was speaking from the future. Relax, right?
Yeah, sure.
He wants when Puerto Rico and Guam
counting territories. Yeah, he was counting territories.
He was just banking on Hillary winning, so DC and fucking Puerto Rico would have been done by now.
Fuck that. I want Guam. Fuck DC. Give me Guam.
Guam has a better chance of just breaking away, don't they?
I think Guam likes the arrangement they have.
I don't want DC. That's the problem.
Unironically, I think DC not being
you don't want
is
it, we
actually
just cut
the best
DC out
option.
and set it off as an island. Like, just get rid of it completely.
Bro, push it to the UK because they some red codes. Invite all the Republicans to Epstein Island before we push off DC.
I'd rather make fucking Garbage Island next state than DC.
Oh, but imagine all our politicians float off an island. That would be that's Sin City floating. It would be the most disgusting city ever. Like they will eat themselves. They can't rule. They wouldn't be able to rule themselves.
I think we're getting away from the topic just a little.
Oh, there's a topic here.
By the way.
Oh, there wasn't it, bro? Roe v. Wade and some shit like that.
Yeah.
We spoke about that shit. We beat it down.
I think you're right, though. I think that we're going to have a bunch of states having even more liberal abortion laws after this, which is kind of antithetical to the idea behind it all.
A lot of
But
corporations.
It's not antithetical at all. It's completely in line. The ruling states that the decision goes back to the states, and the states can do as they see fit. And if the citizens of that state want to change it, they have the power to vote the people in that will change it. It's
I just meant to the
literally
intention of the pro-lifers, not legal.
Yeah.
well,
Talking about the
the
pro-lifers.
pro-lifers. Here's the deep dark secret: the pro-lifers saw overturning Roe v. Wade as the first stone.
Yep.
They didn't see it as the end. They saw that as the beginning. I don't think it'll have the same effect that they think, but my God, they are awfully empowered now. Because some liberal commentators said that yes, likely it would happen, but until the Mississippi case came, I can tell you the majority of Republican voters and even commentators did not think that Roe v. Wade would get overturned, especially in less than 4 years.
Yo,
It was a sacred cow on so many levels for people. They didn't think it would actually end up on the table. So people were caught pretty off guard by that.
Yo, I got a meme for all you South Park fans. Y'all ready? This is Joe Biden's motto. It's in general chat.
Roll or die.
That's it. So those black guys, that's Eric Holder. That's Obama. No, I'm playing.
Oh no.
Oh, I see.
That's
Oh shit.
He said,
Cory Booker. Cory Booker.
Shit. Cory Booker.
I like P. Diddy, bro.
Bro, I'm gonna touch you. I gotta put it on the record. Yeah. I say this even though I know he's not listening. Cory Booker, you a bitch. You a bitch. And if you ever want to run the fade, hit me up. Let everybody. I hate that dude. Should go to jail.
You're trying to tell this dude you hate him, but you also want to get an uptown fade.
Oh no, where I come from, running the fade, the friendly fade is a friendly duel of the fists. It's a fight, mutual combat.
Bro, stomp his ass. Better do what Nato said, cause niggas die for pumping gas.
Can we bring back dueling for politicians? That way we can just have.
Nah, put them dudes in the ring. Put them dudes in the ring. Give them 8-ounce gloves. Let them box it up.
Dueling is fucking psychotic, bro.
There's been conservatives out there trying to bring back tar and feathering. Blizzard knows.
Don't open the doors. That's my point to you guys. If you want to do anything, just
tar and feathering is when you throw tar at a motherfucker and then you throw feathers at him.
And you send them out of town. Yep.
And that's it. They're birds.
So who
now.
wins? Whoever gets tarred and
feathered. There's no win. The
win.
win is the community that person is no longer in.
You said they're a bird now.
Funny. Where's the win?
We were talking about dueling. Y'all talking about tar and feathers. I thought that was
because I'm going way back. I'm hitting with the classic right now.
That's yeah, man. Joe Biden in the ring with anybody would be funny as hell. But Trump and DeSantis need to box it out. Bro.
What's up, Durante?
Appreciate
you for coming
the
through,
dumbest
bro.
thing Trump could ever do
who's shooting the fade?
is fucking run.
Hell no, ain't nobody shooting
Give
the fade.
Give it to DeSantis, and he's going to take it home.
Appreciate you for coming by.
Trump ego is not.
How's your night
going?
I'm not
because he has a brand. Trump has a fan base, a brand. He legit, bro.
No, buddy. No, DeSantis is the wave right now.
DeSantis is a SoundCloud rapper. Trump got that shit, bro.
DeSantis
Trump got platinum records right now, bro.
Bro, some people go big on SoundCloud.
Nah,
and
bro.
DeSantis
right bigger than Drake.
Say DeSantis is posty.
Yeah.
The problem is that
I think that Trump's
gonna be dead any day now, and Trump, for a lot of Republicans are not standing by him anymore. DeSantis is the safest bet. If Trump endorses DeSantis, Republicans win. Period.
At first, nobody wanted to stand by Trump, and then they saw everybody fucking with Trump. Then everybody started running with Trump. That's how it's gonna be this time. Is it cool to like Trump? Trump gonna come out. They gonna see everybody like a Trump. Then they gonna be like, "Oh, okay, it's cool to like Trump," and they gonna be on his dick.
I think that Trump should run like the 4 more years.
I agree with you. I'm just saying.
I think that Trump should.
Go ahead, bro.
I think that Trump should run like the 4 more years or whatnot, and then DeSantis should take like the rest of the 8.
I think DeSantis
it can be like a 12 year
because he's probably the better candidate and the better Republican. But I don't think. I think the only thing that's going to stop Trump from running is a heart attack before.
You know what America needs? America needs a Republican Obama. They need
One
a
of the,
young, smooth white dude. You know what I'm saying? They could just, you
So
oh,
know,
they
DeSantis,
need a
that's what
smooth, cool.
Republicans need.
I know a
Nah,
cool white guy they can use,
DeSantis
Cory
ain't
Booker.
cool.
A cool white guy they could
You
use.
said
The,
Cory
the
Booker.
best, the white man for the job is Cory Booker.
Nah,
If you
I have.
pay him enough,
I'm
he'll
talking. I'm talking
probably
about
be
like
down.
a legit cool white dude, like this. Like he 40 something. You know what I'm saying? But he cool
Cory
though. You know what I'm
Booker,
saying? Like
he's white as
I
hell.
don't know too. I don't know too many young white. I mean, yeah, young white
Cory Booker.
Republicans. Bro,
Oh,
quit
you
saying
talking
Cory
about
Booker. Yeah, yeah,
man, I
Republican.
wouldn't
Yeah.
trust Cory Booker to open my jar of peanut butter if the top was already off.
Bruh,
Too
DeSantis.
busy stacking money on
Appreciate you
Bitcoin
for
to
coming through,
focus on
Durante.
the Republican Party itself.
How's your night going, bro?
That's why they don't see the young people.
If Democrats want that dunk, that easy win, DeSantis. That is literally that DeSantis. If DeSantis runs for president, establishment Democrats are going to freak out. It's going to hurt bad.
I think you could look forward to that in 28. I think DeSantis is the future.
He is the future, but I think
I think DeSantis runs in
I think Trump could rush
2024
it.
and wins. I can't think of a single Democratic candidate that can actually just overtake him. There are some close calls, but I just don't. And I've said it before, and I know there are people that are joining the Discord that weren't here when I said it before. DeSantis is, for all intents and purposes, Trump without the trappings. He is the things that people liked about Trump policy-wise, and he's a better personality. He's as
Smarter.
vocal, but he doesn't sound as stupid, and
Yes.
he knows where the boundaries are. Like
Yes.
and that all works in his favor because Republicans have wanted the candidate. People forget the reason why Trump won, realistically, is because for the first time you had somebody who was running on the Republican ticket who had no qualms about punching back. The problem is we figured out that there's such a thing as punching too hard, and a lot of people got really turned off by that because a lot of the
And
swings
also
became
punching
misses
yourself.
because he wasn't. Well,
Nah,
yeah, that
I
too.
think I've never really known the Republican Party to really be shy about throwing punches. It's always been the
Oh, that's
Democratic side.
in the
It's
political
always
realm. They've
looked
always
down
the
upon if you're
Democrat,
punching down, right? That's just in
okay,
general.
yeah.
When you punch
Democrats
down,
have a
it's
In that
long
context, okay.
history of just shredding out at Republican voters. Like, okay, here I'll paint the picture like this. Imagine you had a candidate, not Trump, running in 2016, and you had Hillary Clinton calling Republican voters deplorables. I can't think of any other Republican candidate except maybe Ted Cruz that would have like literally answered to that right then and there. Trump did, and like I said, it wasn't always great. The problem is that Trump was a hammer. Sometimes he hit a nail, and when he hit a nail, it was good. Sometimes he hit a baby, and that was very bad.
Bruh. Here's the problem, though, right? Is historically, when you run a loser, you lose. Like it or not, or hate it or not, Trump's a loser. And what I mean
yet
by
the
a
loser
loser,
won.
He lost, and he's going to lose again.
It's the year of the losers, bro.
He won.
It's
and
the era
then
of the
lost.
losers, bro. I'm telling you,
Right.
it's the era of the losers.
Biden lost a million times. George Bush
Trump
Sr. lost a couple times.
It's the era of the losers. I'm
Matt,
telling you.
No, Trump won when it was a
recent
referendum
Matt
on Hillary
is a
Clinton.
loser.
He lost when it was a referendum on him.
Bro, put Trump as VP.
No.
Okay, the Republicans are going to have a very, very bad day this election.
I think the only real question is
VP.
who's the VP going to be for Trump. That's the only
DeSantis will
real
never
question.
be that. The reason why DeSantis doesn't want to pick VP is because
he'll never be VP.
He doesn't want to play second fiddle.
Because Trump is damaged, is literally damaged goods. Like you in the long term, you're not going to want to have your name on him.
Yeah, the VP seat has never been full of fucking.
Again, Trump is a loser. Like,
yeah, just think Kamala Harris, right?
So if you pick VP, now you're on the campaign trail with a loser, and then you lose.
Well,
you don't want that on your record.
Be more specific. Be more. You need to be more specific. The problem is, theoretically, let's say as an argument, DeSantis runs for president. He picks Trump to be his VP for some whatever the fuck reason. You could very well have a case where DeSantis is giving a message, and that's going to be the message of the platform. And Trump, because he's Trump, will undermine that by saying, no, that's not actually what's going to happen. We'll let him say it, but that's not what's actually going to happen. And then that's all across the campaign trail. You're going to have that, and it's just going to be a field day for Democrats. I don't think Trump has any place on the ticket whatsoever. I think if you want somebody with Trump-esque politics,
I've already
get
said
DeSantis.
originally that it needs to just be DeSantis and Trump
Yeah.
needs to sit it out.
But who?
But
But who's his
the only
VP?
other concession I'm willing to give is that if Trump absolutely has to be involved, because that's been your argument for the majority of this.
Yeah,
If he
well, that's
has
my
to be
argument.
involved,
He's
if he
going
has
to.
to be, then he needs to be in at the lowest level possible. And the lowest level possible would be, besides the fact that him sitting it out, would be VP.
But that's absolutely.
Well, I'm not voting. I'm not
I
voting
mean, like,
Republican unless Trump is
never
on that
gonna
ticket.
If,
Trump is
hey,
on that ticket.
DeSantis is better than Trump.
I don't care.
He's
I'm a
Say
Trump
you
fan.
don't care.
Because DeSantis is just as bad as all three of them. Just Biden, nothing's gonna get done for working class families. Nothing's gonna get done.
I think for Republicans, he is the best Republican candidate.
Yeah, I don't care about any of that when it comes to.
I just don't think he can win nationally with how bad they hit him on COVID. I think there's a residual effect still on that, like his popularity because of how Florida guy got blamed for bad numbers for COVID, and then this whole Disney thing right now. It doesn't look good nationally, even though it might be popular in Florida.
On COVID, Florida came out ahead, and economically, Florida's winning.
Yeah,
and
but
also,
people don't understand that that's the actual case. They never compared the numbers of Florida and New York and shit like that. People think fucking Florida was absolutely horrible during COVID.
No, Republicans don't. The majority of Republicans don't believe that. The majority of Republicans believe that Florida is literally like.
Oh yeah, well, I'm not talking about the base. I'm talking about the middle, which is what they have to win to actually win the presidency.
I think the middle will be very happy with the way DeSantis speaks.
I think after he gets elected, they'll be pleasantly surprised.
You know what I mean? Remember, my whole point is, my point isn't that DeSantis is perfect. My point is DeSantis is going to fucking win, and he's the best Republican option. That's it.
I tend to agree, but I don't think that anything is going to hold Trump back come January when he goes 82-2 with endorsements.
And then I'm going to tell you straight up that Republicans are going to have a very, 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 very bad election year. And hold me to it. I'm not hiding for nobody.
Wait, are you talking about congressionally or?
I'm talking about after midterms, after he does
let me
his
be very clear.
endorsements, and then he
Be
wins.
a double loser. I'm not beating around the bush. Just like he lost the first time, he's going to lose again. I mean, the second time is going to be the first time. The previous time, he's going to lose again.
And I tend to agree. I think it's a tighter race. I think DeSantis wins, but Trump is not going to not run.
I think. My worry is that he doesn't run, but that he starts opining on the different candidates.
DeSantis cannot primary against Trump. Trump has to. Yeah, Trump has to give it up. If Trump doesn't give it up,
DeSantis can 100% primary Trump.
Yeah, but he's not.
No, I know he can. I know he can, but it would hurt the party. I agree with you. But the damage that would be done with a debate against DeSantis versus Trump, and in the Trumper busters not going to vote for DeSantis, it's disastrous.
I think the Trumper bust crowd is smaller than the crowd that resents
David French has come out and supported DeSantis. That's rough. I hear you.
But the Republicans are really not that bright, right? Trump has to hand them DeSantis, or it's going to be a bad day.
Yep.
I think you're really overvaluing the ultra MAGA crowd.
Oh please! They literally stormed the Capitol.
I think you're underestimating them, bro.
Yeah,
I talk to a few Trump supporters. You know what I'm saying, all the time.
MAGA crowd is the new Republican Party. Like
they seem very sensible people. I mean, let me say, I say that you know what I'm saying. Their reasons isn't just because they have very good reasons. You know what I'm saying.
It's a populist base.
I think they believe. I think they believe that they have good reasoning. You know what I'm saying. And it's
for sure. Yeah, they think they're sound.
They're tight. They're solid. They're solid. And they're the anti-establishment. So if Ron DeSantis comes off as establishment, you know what I'm saying.
No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
Oh, okay. He does not.
He literally just basically comes off.
By the way, Trump likes DeSantis a lot.
He does. That is
but
true.
the problem is
that made DeSantis really. Otherwise, it would have been David Gillum, right?
Well, David Gillum only lost by 30,000 votes, but that was before the federal charges of fraud.
Yeah.
Who's David Gillum?
He's the guy who ran against DeSantis when DeSantis was not in politics.
That's Andrew Gillum.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Andrew.
Oh, the black dude.
Okay. Well, first off, Andrew Gillum has 2 scandals. His first scandal is when he got caught with a gay prostitute doing drugs in a hotel, and one of them and the gay prostitute.
Wait, that was.
overdosed.
Oh yeah, that was him.
Mm-hmm.
What was his name again?
Yeah,
Andrew Gillum.
Gillum, yeah. He got
There
caught
would
with
be
like
no
them
DeSantis
2
without
or like
Trump, and I think
them 3
DeSantis
dudes.
realized that and is never going to betray that. You know what I mean?
And
Man.
Gillum got caught, and then he comes out that he's bisexual, but he cheated on his fucking wife with a gay dude. With a dude because he's gay, and it's just like, bro, Gillum's done. His like
Yeah, not in Florida. No.
like
That
his
man
political
pulled.
career was
If
dead then,
Hell
but now like
no,
this,
bro. That nigga gonna be the
bro,
next president.
this dude,
no, he's
his
not.
coffin is already like ready to be
Dude,
buried. Bro, they dug the
Right.
hole for
But
him already.
what
Andrew
I was
Gillum.
saying, B-more, was that
and,
at the time, without Trump, he would have won without Trump's endorsement.
yeah,
Okay.
Gillum
possibly.
would have won.
But
It
at
was a
the same
30,000
time,
split. You know.
But at the same time, look at what I mean. Well, not even on a different coin, the same coin. Look what Trump did that cost Georgia. Georgia could have been a red state, but his efforts appear to possibly have reduced voter turnout for the runoff elections.
Oh yeah,
And
huge mistake. And the Democrats
really
are getting
was.
ready to make the same exact
And
mistake right now.
and people remember those things. And
But
I think
Warnock is boring. People are not going to remember him. Like Republicans have a good chance of winning Georgia.
Oh yeah, yeah, but we should have won it, and we because of the January 6th and all the bullshit, it undermined faith in the elections to
no.
come. You know what
January
I mean?
6th
Because
happened
it was
after
after
the
it.
runoff.
Bro, I need Republicans to take the Senate because I don't want no
Was it?
gun control. Y'all need to figure it out, Republicans.
No, the whole election, the
Oh, you're talking about the building
eroding of
protection
faith in
problem?
the general election is why people didn't go out and vote for the
Yes,
runoff.
yes. Trump really did. What's funny is what's his name? Hopefully I remember his name. Shit, it's not a good time. But anyway, one of the prominent fucking Republicans, he said that the only
Was
way to
Purdue?
beat it, no, he's retired. He's a Fox commentator now, but he was a senator. I forgot his name.
Oh, Trey Gowdy?
No, but it's not too important because what he said is important though, and I'll say that the rhetoric that he was spewing is that yeah, the election's rigged, and the only thing we can do is have such mass turnout that the cheating that you outweigh the cheating. That's the dumbest shit in the world. I think I don't know when it's gonna happen. Maybe it's gonna happen 30 years from now, but Republicans are gonna have to come to terms with the election was not rigged.
I think the world is going to have to come to that determination every single election from here on out.
Yes, you're right. You are right. Trump led to extreme harm, but it's okay because Democrats led to extreme harm in other ways. So it's just a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Democrats are doing a better job of keeping Trump's errors front center.
Whatever. In the
I'm not
process,
saying I'm not saying it's actually succeeded. I'm saying they're putting
no.
better
What I
effort
mean,
in.
but I don't mean
It's
whatever about
it's
success
like
or
their
not.
only game plan, right? Is
Thank
Trump.
you.
They're trying
That's
to
the point.
fucking
Yeah.
And that's the biggest point. Not only that, they spend like we literally have abortion just got overruled. You like they're losing on guns because of Clarence Thomas, and these bitch asses are having dumbass meetings about Trump still. Like, get the fuck over it, y'all fucking idiots. Get over it. Move on.
Who do you think takes up the reins after Bernie when the left starts to shift? Like, who's the future?
Nobody. Bernie dying is amazing.
Yo,
For
see.
the Democrats want Bernie dead because those Bernie and Busters and those damn lefties, those damn socialists, they want that
I
shit.
actually
stifled.
don't know who would properly take up the mantle. I mean, Bernie,
Nobody.
for
Man,
as much
nobody.
as
Yeah, Bernie.
for as much
Bernie
as he's
must-
pro-socialist,
Yeah.
I think that he has enough things that are slightly moderate.
Because it has to be.
It's hard to
Oh,
find somebody
he's
else who
not a
rides
full-blown
that
socialist.
line.
He's not a
Well-
socialist. Like he supports capitalism.
He supports some tenets of capitalism, but
Exactly. So he supports capitalism.
I think we all do. We're American. Capitalism is the American way. I mean, that's our system. We have to.
It has been
but
said
I know
before,
that
and I
we all
fully
don't
agree with it.
support
Capitalism is the worst system ever created,
We can
except for every other
socialize.
system.
No, capitalism is cool. We can socialize the tax dollars. You know what I'm saying? Where we taxing these companies, and then we should have trickle down economics with capitalism. That's what I always.
Trickle down
That-
economics. What a myth.
I know it's a myth. I know it's a myth, but I'm saying that's how it should be. You know what I'm saying? That would make it. That would give more
Yeah, and I should also have legalized weed.
certification up.
Keep dreaming.
I also
It's
should
good
not
in
be
theory,
forced to have
only
my
if
tax
every
dollars
step
go
of
to
the chain
programs
is
that I don't
ambivalent,
support.
then it's all good. You know,
Weed not really that important for me, bro, because legalize it or not, I'm still smoking. You know what I'm saying? It's other shit right now I feel like is more important that we need to
Legalize
address.
weed so we get better products.
What?
So
Legalization
we're talking about
legalization allows for open markets. Open markets allow for competition, and competition allows for better products.
Man, it's on fire out here in these streets, bro. I don't know what you know.
Guess what? I don't want fire. I don't want
So
fire. I don't want
I
fire.
find it
I want
interesting.
molten lava.
I find it interesting. People are really
Come
big
down,
on
come out here to
talking about.
heat. I got you. We got that shit to take for sure.
Nice. You know, I find it interesting. We're talking about these two most recent SCOTUS cases, and there
Yeah.
was one before the gun control case.
the Miranda.
That
The ATF case.
there's the Miranda one too. There's also the issue of I think it's the state of Maine. Let me pull it up. It was an issue regarding funding for private schools, but excluding religious schools, being a violation of.
Yeah, they struck that shit down. They gave out like 14 opinions or 14
they gave
fucking
it a lot.
rulings over the last 2 weeks. They've been going
They've
hard.
been
The end of the
busy.
term, you procrastinated.
You
Well,
think there
no,
was
I mean
a
no, but
end to
objectively,
releasing the
they've
gun?
had more rulings than I think any
Wait, say that
SCOTUS
again, Blizzard?
tenure.
I was just saying that. Do you think there was a grand plan behind releasing the gun ruling before Roe v. Wade?
No,
Right.
that's a funny meme.
You mean to
Because,
soften the blow?
because I was like, yay, get ready to shoot protesters. The states are given a good amount of time to adapt to Supreme Court rulings. So no, I don't believe it's important.
Carson versus Mackin. There we go.
Hey, yo, real quick, y'all. I'm about to hop off real quick. I want to say peace. Have a good night. Yeah, another dope ass discussion. I appreciate you for having me going. Y'all boys be easy, all right?
All right,
Take it easy, Zay.
Oh,
appreciate you for stopping by, bro.
Come back.
Peace, y'all.
But
Goose
if I'm
been
gonna be
awful
honest,
quiet.
the ATF case, the Miranda case,
Oh,
it's
no,
all
bro. I just want to let y'all talk.
it's all boring shit. What's exciting is the two most recent cases. Sorry.
I disagree. I mean, I don't think it's as big as the two cases, but the Miranda case is actually, I consider it big because it deals in repercussions.
I said it's not exciting.
You don't think it's exciting?
No, I think the fact that we have protesters on the streets right now, and somebody might flip a car, maybe, who knows? There's a chance. That's far more exciting.
It's probably popping off
if
by now,
there's
right?
given that there's issues right now with law enforcement and the perception of law enforcement, you don't think a Supreme Court ruling that basically removes the punitive damage component of failing to provide Miranda rights is not a big deal?
Is it enough to get people to go protest? Nope. It's not exciting.
It should be.
Okay, well, I'm telling you, it's not captivating. I'm not saying that it's not important. I'm not
Yeah,
saying
I kind of get it too.
negative. I'm just saying that nobody hit the streets because it's boring. And what I mean by boring is a metric of entertainment, right? It lacks on that metric. Now, you know what doesn't lack on that metric? These last two cases. And if you want proof, turn the news on right now and tell me what it shows.
It'd be different if they ruled that you no longer have to be read your Miranda rights. That'd be popping. You know what I mean? But
I think that would cause an upheaval the likes of which we haven't seen. I think George Floyd would look like a picnic compared to the upheaval that would happen if they overturned Miranda.
Yeah, right. But I mean, what they basically did is they said that you can't necessarily sue the individual cop for not reading you your Miranda rights. Is that?
So what they did was they removed the punitive damage component, whereby if an officer fails to read Miranda rights, instead of simply not being able to previously, other than just not being able to use the material in court, if you could specifically prove that the officer failed to provide Miranda warning, and then specifically used what he coerced out of you to give to the prosecutor for the case, that officer could be sued. The Supreme Court said, no, you can't really do that. And so now there is not the risk of damages afforded against the officer for failing to do They're
only
due
individual
work off
officers
trigger
It's
warning.
pretty
to the
normal in
police
today's day
station.
to not hold police accountable for anything. Like it's
No,
it's literally
seriously, that shit is crazy.
It's like a whatever immunity thing. Like you can still sue the police station if you're
yeah, just to the department.
yeah. You just can't sue the individual officer. That's why it's not exciting. That was
You can still get rich. The case was literally
Damn
about
the
an
US.
illegal ATF agent. And
It's
but I
wild
will
though,
say,
because I'm serious. Like when I said that religious people that are alive today feel like they were born for this moment. Like this is I'm serious when I say that. You know what I mean?
bro, my buddy is a Catholic guy, and he literally cried today.
Yeah, like it's real. It's not just words
He sat
to
down,
actual devout
held his
religious
kid,
people.
and cried for like 10 minutes straight.
Stop
And
playing.
his wife was there hugging him. This family legit like took a pause of how significant this was to them. And I think they're dumb, but whatever. He's my boy, so it's whatever.
So I think they're down.
That dude retarded, but we homies, so it's all good.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of
We
what you
all-
feel about it, just know that
we
it
all
is
had
real
that
to
friend
those
though.
people. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there are a certain a multiplicity of people that do feel this way about this in particular issue. You know what I mean?
I actually think there's a larger number that are relatively nonchalant about the issue. I think there was an NBC poll. I linked it in the Twitch chat earlier, where if you look at the aggregate data, it basically shows that about 35% of the population is really neither one way or the other on abortion. Like it basically falls that it basically falls into the category of the majority are okay with like restricted abortions, where it's like the case of rape and incest or when the mother's life is in danger.
Yeah,
right?
it all depends on how
And
you
then
ask
all
the
the other
question,
ones,
right?
well, they asked the plurality of questions, and then that's how the results were driven. Because they asked all the participants the same 5 questions, and that's how they got the data.
I reviewed lots of polling, and the way it breaks out is that the majority of people support abortion. But
it's not the kind of majority you think, yeah.
In some cases,
it's not a crazy
that's
majority.
what I'm saying.
And it's
Like,
also not a blank check.
Yeah. I think it's like 70% in some cases,
60,
which
it's 60 to 64%. As a binary, whether they support or don't support. It's when you break it down by what type of abortion and whatnot.
Yeah,
That's
shit
when the
gets really
numbers
weird
start
after
out.
once you start breaking it down. Yeah,
and it's been that way for a long time. It's deviated like 10 points over the last fucking 70 years or some shit like that. Probably not 70, but like 50 years.
Bro,
I
I
think it's
legit
8
know women
points over the last 50.
who sit around and they mad. They're furious about this shit. But guess what they're gonna do next weekend? They're gonna fuck a conservative. So it's like, ha, y'all joke. Y'all joke.
It's because we so damn sexy.
Y'all dumb. Yeah, they literally be throwing their ass back for dudes and not even know their political takes. Like, but then yet claim that they're passionate about these issues. Like, if these women really care about these shits, they would stop fucking conservatives. But guess what? They can do whatever they want. Yeah,
Let's
they can
be
do whatever
honest.
they
The one,
want. I can't control them and I can't stop them. But if you keep rewarding your opposition, you're not gonna get nowhere. And that's your problem. I don't know what else to tell them. That is their problem. Now, I will fight for their right for abortion because I support it. But at the same time, y'all keep rewarding your opposition. It's a bad look.
I think if Democrats don't get on their fucking game in the House in the House and in the Senate, then things are not looking good because a Republican will fucking pass a weed law. Not sure about reparations, but they'll definitely get around to weed eventually.
Bro, if Republicans get credit for weed, Republicans are gonna look. Democrats are gonna look so bad.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, do it. It's like it's go time because it's getting close here. We're catching up in weird ways.
Yep, we'll see. You got to remember, I just want it, so I don't care who does it.
Yeah.
But if Republicans do it, they get to keep the credit forever.
Layups, you know what I mean?
Forever, for the rest of American history, Republicans were the ones who got rid of some of the most racist laws. And then somebody else is going to add to that? They're going to say, once again, if anybody knows it, if anybody understands what I mean by that.
For sure. I got you. Because I'd probably say
literally, Just dumb, bro. That's just dumbass Democrats. They're gonna let it happen, just like they let this overturning of Roe v. Wade happen. They're gonna let it happen. Can't help them.
These
Sorry,
wedges. You
Ty.
couldn't have been more right than when you got here and you said it's these wedge issues. That's all it is. That's
Nope.
why the Republicans are on the social fucking war. That's why.
Hey, Goon, I got to roll out. I got to do one last puppy feeding, and then I got to go to bed.
All right, for sure.
Take
Definitely
it easy, Captain.
appreciate. Yeah, I
I'm building a
definitely.
Ferrari
I
right
Huh?
now.
definitely
Gran Turismo.
appreciate you for stopping by, bro.
I'm glad we had more people on the panel.
Oh yeah,
Isn't that- we need more of this.
yeah. No,
Follow
like I'm
Goon. Stay in the Discord.
yeah,
Come have these talk.
no, like I'm gonna keep on doing what I'm doing, just be more involved in the community so I can keep on meeting more people and have more people come by.
So y'all have a good one. I will see you tomorrow night, Goon.
See you.
All right, Captain.
Later.
But
So Blizzard, what's up, B more? Appreciate y'all for coming through.
Everything's good. It looks like everybody's dipping.
About that time.
Yeah, I'm in Arizona, so it's always early for me. I don't know about y'all.
I'm pretty tired myself, to be honest with you, bro. But yeah, I definitely appreciate y'all for coming through, though.
No problem.
Shit, yeah, I'll be streaming tomorrow night also if y'all want to stop by.
I might. Why not? We'll see though, because I got some plans tomorrow. I just don't know what they're gonna lead to.
Yeah.
Hanging out with this Fijian chick, bro. That's wild.
Hey,
The
shit.
girl from Fiji, bro. Fiji. What the fuck is that?
No, for real, for real.
Not a guarantee.
Hopefully we don't
We'll
hear
see what
back
happens.
from you, shit.
That's what I'm saying.
No.
But again, there's no guarantees in life. For the longest, people thought there was a guaranteed right to abortion. Look what happened today. You see, you can't
right,
take
that
things
was
for granted.
constitutional, I thought.
Nah, bro, that shit was crazy. That shit was
It's sad.
actually crazy.
People think I'm cheering this. Like, no, it's
I
just
didn't
like
even like grasp the concept of it at first, but then I was like, oh wow.
Wait, didn't Ruth Bader Ginsburg even in her opinion say that this is fucking shaky bullshit?
She supported Roe v. Wade. But the beauty of it is, if Ruth Bader Ginsburg would have retired and didn't wait till fucking death, then she could have been replaced by Obama, and then this would have never happened. Isn't that crazy? Have you think about that?
Yeah, no.
Because they would have never they would have never took the case to begin with. The case would have never been entered into the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Roe v. Wade would have just stuck because Obama would have nominated another idiot like Sotomayor.
Instead, we got 3 Scalia Juniors.
Bruh. Republicans really slam dunked that shit, bro. I'm proud of them. I'm proud of them because they were given power and they utilized it. You know what I mean? Democrats get
in the
power.
background. They was moving in the background silently.
No, it wasn't even the background, bro. It was so
Yeah.
it was like you give Democrats
We were
power.
saying, I wish a motherfucker would the whole time. Just
You
like
give Democrats power and they do nothing with it. You give Republicans power and they fuck your life up. Yo, I'm racing this Ferrari and it drives so good. I'm playing Gran Turismo, the newest one on PS5.
Hey, bro, this dude finally oh, that's actually a fucking dope ass game. But
yeah, I got it on PS5 too. Be more, you should hit me with your PlayStation ID.
I'll DM it to you.
Oh, yeah, I got PlayStation. I got Xbox. God damn.
Bro, PS5's better, bro.
I don't know about all that one, but
I know all about it. I know all about it
but
right
nah,
now.
this dude finally hooked me up to play fucking Grand Theft Auto RP. And bro, that shit is so fun.
What's RP?
RP
Role
like,
playing?
Yeah, but like
Yeah.
for like
Yo, those videos are funny as fuck.
Hell yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Like I always wanted to learn how to do
be
it,
a
and
part
like
of it,
this,
bro. Yeah.
and like this dude, like finally had fucking walked me through it last night. I was like, hell yeah, bro. Appreciate
You really gotta
everything.
act and they'll boot you.
Yeah.
I like how serious they take it.
Yeah, no, like I'm gonna find one and I'm gonna actually try to
Be a gangster.
You got to go all in though.
it.
You got to
Yeah.
absolutely go all in.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can't
That's the
be
way it's
nah,
the
sloppy.
I'm
most
gonna see.
the most
You gotta
interesting.
really
I'm gonna
play
see,
it up. You gotta
bro.
really do
Maybe
your
I
thing.
might be maybe I might be like a fucking grocery stalker or some shit.
Yeah, and then
I don't
somebody tries to
know.
rob you and you lay them out. Like, bitch, this ain't Buffalo.
But no, bro, I'm gonna catch y'all later. Once again, bro, I definitely appreciate y'all for stopping by.
You already know, man. I'll always drop in to spice things up. So I'll catch you the next time.
All right, bro, and
And,
y'all enjoy the rest of y'all night.
yep. And I'm dipping out also. It looks like the party's over. Blizz, I'll catch you later.
Right on. Later, be more.
All right, Blizzard for sure.
Later, goon.
All right. All right, chat. I really appreciate y'all for real, man. It looks like since I've been streaming on multiple platforms, I'm streaming on Twitch, Corvo, Facebook, and YouTube right now. I just really appreciate y'all. You know, y'all being over here following, staying active in the chat, joining the Discord and whatnot. And I just hope that I'm keeping y'all entertained. And I will definitely be bringing y'all more stuff, and I'll keep increasing the production and the quality of these videos. But y'all definitely enjoy the rest of y'all's night, all right? And catch me tomorrow.